Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right, we are back after a 1 week hiatus. We appreciate you all coming back with us on a Tuesday night to talk all the latest in sports and entertainment. Joined as I am each and every time by Calvin Thomas, Justin B.A. the Barber Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm not sick.
That's a plus. Look, hey man, it's flu season out here. Y'all make sure y'all stay away from people. Stop shaking hands as much as you used to. Or if you do, go and use your hand sanitizer. Man, this flu out here is rough. I had it last week, put me down, but thankfully I'm back this week. I appreciate you all being patient. My intention was not for us to miss the week. I wanted to record later in the week, but my body just would not cooperate. It just wasn't ready. As you can still hear a little bit in my voice, but
It's not a little bit.
hey, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But if you hear me go on mute because I'm coughing, hey, I'm thugging it out for y'all. But it's WrestleMania week, so I had to be here. It's NBA playoff week, so it's a lot going on. We could not miss another show. So we're gonna talk about all that tonight. How y'all fellas doing? Everything been happening the last 2 weeks. We got a lot of topics that happened that we missed. I'm sure
Playoff starting.
we'll get to them, but without further ado, because we got a lot to cover, we don't waste no time tonight. Because first of all, we got to talk about what's happening in the NBA. The play-in started tonight. A lot of games are happening. As 2 games are happening tonight. 2 games going to be happening on Friday night. You win tonight, that means you don't have to play the second game. You basically get to get that 7 seed. Tonight, you got the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic, the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies taking on each other tonight. I haven't looked at the updated scores. I'm sure you all will keep me abreast of that. But just going in, Atlanta has been pretty successful in the play-in. I think they're like 2-1 in their playoffs play-in stint here lately, while the Golden State Warriors have not made it out the play-in in their 3 attempts thus far. So for them to lose that game to the Clippers the other night was pretty big, honestly, because went to overtime. James Harden put on a hell of a performance. Golden State really didn't want to put themselves in this position, but they should take care of business against Memphis. Calvin, I'll start with you. Thoughts on Atlanta and Orlando?
Oh, Orlando taking this matchup easily. They were one of the hot teams to start until Paolo and Wagner got injured early in the season, and they kind of hit a slide. When you lose your best 2 players, it's hard to stay on top of things, especially in the Eastern Conference. It's top heavy with Cleveland and Boston. But I like Orlando's matchup. They were up 15 the last I looked, so I think they roll against Atlanta. Now they play Boston, so I think that's where their season ends. But at least tonight, I like Orlando in this matchup.
Justin, your thoughts on this Orlando Atlanta matchup, and then we look projecting out moving forward.
I think it's foolish actually for Orlando to win tonight. I would not win. I will purposely lose, knowing that I can beat either Chicago or Miami. I will purposely lose this game so I can guarantee myself going against Cleveland Cavaliers for the first round instead of going against Boston Celtics. I like my chances as Cleveland. They played each other very, very tough last year, the players, if I'm not mistaken. So I will bank on that. I will have no fears in Donovan Mitchell and the crew. But you tell me I got to win this game and I got to go head into Boston, in which they're probably prominent ready, about to hit the switching or whatever. KP rolling. Jaylen Brown's been a few games since his little injury stint, so he's good to go. JT is rolling. Like, no, I'm not playing that, man. So I don't like that, but they don't, it's the spirit of the game, the pride of the game. You win the games you're supposed to win, but I'm calling in sick. Yeah, damn it.
So where are we at now that where teams will take the play to the number 1 seed instead of the number 2? That's wild.
That's how we go sometimes. I go sometimes.
All right, so let's look over at the Western Conference. What's your thoughts, Justin, on this Memphis and Golden State matchup tonight? Is there a chance that Memphis can get the win in Golden State?
No. I think it's over for that. I mean, but then they'll make the 8th seed. So I had them beating either Sacramento or Dallas, and Memphis against OKC. It'll be entertaining. It'll be fun to see what Giles going to do. But Golden State, if Steve Kerr can get his coaching rotations correctly, I don't know why he's not playing Kuminga. He didn't play him in his last game. He was just a DMP, so. It is what it is, I guess. He didn't say anything of what's going on with that. Maybe he's just not ready for this moment, but he was on that championships roster before, so it's puzzling at best. But Jimmy Butler's coming into form. Steph Curry is always Steph Curry. Jimmy got banged up a little bit, and Steph is still dealing with that thumb injury, but that'd be more entertaining. And I think they can look at Houston Rockets and say, like, man, let's go. They can take them in the 7th game. I'm not saying that they will. We haven't did those predictions yet, but it'll be entertaining nonetheless.
All right, let's spin this forward. You got Sacramento and Dallas. Calvin, what's your thoughts on that series? I mean, that matchup, the 1-game matchup.
It's 1-game matchup. I like Sacramento. Dallas is just beat up. I don't think they haven't played enough together with that new squad with AD to kind of get any kind of cohesion and anything together. So I like Sacramento in this matchup, and they're home. And Sacramento has one of the best home crowds in the league, in my opinion. So I like Sacramento, and I think they'll be playing Memphis on on Friday.
Yeah. So it's the 2 matchups tonight, 2 matchups tomorrow night, and then the losers basically will play on Friday, and then got to come right back this weekend, and then start off the playoffs on Sunday. Yeah. So, Justin, what about this Miami Heat Bulls team? This Bulls teams have been hot here lately, man. They've been playing some good ball. Josh Giddey have put the team on his back here lately. Does anybody really want to see this Bulls team early on?
I think the Bulls actually want to make it to the 8th seed. I think they beat Miami. Miami just don't have the guns. There's no playoff Jimmy there, so I don't have that going for them. So it's just not going to work out for them, in my opinion, unless what's the young boy
Tyler Hero?
No, the other one that came over from Golden State.
And
Wiggins, yeah.
Wiggins,
unless he has a flashback to how he was.
Yeah,
he's still on. He's probably like 27. That's still young. But no, unless he can turn the time back and have a great performance, Chicago is just to me a better team. And then I think they can take Atlanta. I think they can definitely go into Atlanta and beat them. So there you go.
Yeah, nobody want to see Atlanta though. I tell you that much. We know they got a history of playing spoiler for some people.
It was Moody that didn't play for. Was it Moody or Kuminga? Which one?
It was Kuminga.
Okay. They said Steve Kerr said that he don't play him because Draymond's the 5 and like Jimmy's the 4, and he don't want to play him. He don't want to play all 3 of them together, and like the plus minus is terrible.
You find a way to get him in.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's look at this playoff bracket picture. While Calvin resets his internet, we're going to start with Justin. So OKC is sitting at that number 1 seed in the West. You made the point a minute ago. Let's take one step back. So you say you Golden State sitting at 7, and you win tonight. That means you're the 8. You'll go to 7, and you'll probably place Houston in the first round. Correct?
Yes, Golden State plays Houston when they win tonight.
So OKC will get the winner of Memphis, and the Memphis will play, like say, Dallas and Sacramento, and you got Sacramento or Dallas winning that game. You didn't give us one.
Sacramento.
All right, so who you got between Sacramento and Memphis?
Memphis.
All right, so Memphis and OKC. Is there any chance? How many games does that go? What's your thoughts?
Memphis and OKC, it'll go a strong 5.
5? Okay. Calvin?
Yeah, I was going to say 6, but 5.
John Knucklehead, you can't trust him. Go ahead.
But I even still, I like Jaren Jackson. I like Desmond Bain. I feel like both of them can win you a game. I don't think it's enough though. It's Oklahoma City. 5.
All right, so So no upset there. Number 1 seed there in the Eastern Conference. You think Cleveland can get clipped? That's what your thoughts, Justin.
Oh no, I never said that.
It's just a better matchup.
Yes.
It's a chance.
So it'll be Chicago at the 8th seed.
Yeah.
So you like Miami?
No, I did not.
No. He didn't say that.
I was saying unless certain people show up, but all in all, Chicago.
You say you think Orlando should take it to try to get into that.
I also said that as well, correct? But they're not. They're clearly up by like 15.
Yeah,
no, they're up by 6. It's getting close.
They heard me. Yeah, shout out to Orlando. So let's just it's iffy now, but
I think Chicago and Cleveland might be an interesting matchup. The way
if Atlanta's here at the 8th spot, if by any, I don't know how that's going to work out. If Orlando loses, then they're taking the 8th spot. That means Atlanta's taking the 7th seed. Either way, first round, Cleveland's going to go to the second round. I'm not saying that. If they play Orlando, it's going to go a strong 6 or 7. If they play any other team, Chicago, Atlanta, or the other team, 4 to 5.
All right, so let's put it this way. Of the 1 and 2 seeds, OKC, Cleveland, Boston, and Houston, do you all project any of these teams losing in the first round of the playoffs? And who it is and who will be the team to beat them? Calvin, I'll start with you.
I got the Warriors beating the Rockets.
Okay.
You can't tell me that team. Look, it's an Ime team, it's gonna be a defensive team, but Steph and Jimmy been playing ball for the last 25-30 games. They got 21-4 since the game over. Granted, he's injured right now, but I think that's going 6. And I will be surprised if Oklahoma City, Cleveland, and Boston combined lose more than 2 games total for all 3 of them. Those other 3 are right. But I got the Warriors beating the Rockets.
Justin, 1 and 2 seeds. Any of them getting clipped?
No.
Okay. Chalk. All right. That makes it simple. All right, so let's go with the matchups that we do know. All right, so right now, let's start in the Western Conference. The Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves will face off. The matchup 3 and 6 is always interesting. Minnesota, we've seen them the last 2 years in the playoffs have some big runs. They saw what they did to the Phoenix Suns last year, sweeping Kevin Durant. We saw them get all the way to the Western Conference Finals and lose to Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Do the Timberwolves pull the upset? Do they beat the Los Angeles Lakers in round number 1? Calvin, tell me why.
All right, look, I ain't gonna give you my unimpressive Lakers in 5. That's a wrap. It don't matter. It don't matter. I had one set up for you, but I ain't gonna give it to you.
That's it.
Thank you. That was very astute.
Lakers in 5. I'm going to get into it. Lakers in 5.
No description, no nothing. Details. Okay.
LeBron, Luka, AR.
Justin, do the Timberwolves have a chance?
Of course they have a chance. LeBron James is not 100%. We got to see what AR does in the playoffs. He's not the greatest playoff performer. We know what Luka can do. Luka can beat a team by himself. But with that being said, you do have Anthony Edwards on the other end, who led the league in 3-pointers made this year. So he's definitely going to fire it up. You have Julius Randle. Shout out to Drew. We had our issues in the past, but you over there now, and I like to see you perform well in the playoffs.
Keep yourself.
And then they got Rudy Gobert, which is. So with that being said,
mismatch.
Look.
I got the Lakers taking this one in 6 games. You gonna
get 6? Okay, That's respectable. Look, I got the Lakers too, but I agree. I just think I'll give Ant-Man a little bit more respect. I seen what he did last year, earned my respect. A lot of that big time play he came up with. Now he came up short in the West Conference Final, so Luka might be the kryptonite here. So I'm not saying they're going to win, but I give them 6 games. I ain't going to 5. That's a little disrespectful. But I give them 6.
Timberwolf, Werewolf, Yellow Wolf. Lakers in 5. It don't matter.
Yellow Wolf.
Don't
What?
matter.
Anyway.
Should have said Dire Wolf. That would have been
Yeah, exactly. Let's head on over to the Eastern Conference 3-6 matchup. And you got these red hot Detroit Pistons taking up against that New York Knicks team sitting at 3. You got Jalen Brunson coming back from injury. How will his team look gelled up, ready for the playoffs? I'm going to start with Calvin because I want to give Justin all the time in the world, even answer some of whatever Calvin has to say. Calvin, what's your thoughts on this matchup? Knicks Pistons.
Look, the Knicks should win this matchup. The Knicks should be favored in this matchup. The Knicks should not struggle in this matchup. Even though Detroit is young, this is their first time in the playoffs, I'm thinking 5 or 6 years. Cade Cunningham had my vote for most improved player. I know there may be some discrepancies about that, but this team, they're scrappy. They seem to have all these veterans decide to play well. Wesley Matthews, Tobias Harris, I think Tim Hardaway as well. These guys decide to play well. There may be some animosity with Tim Hardaway being a former Knick. I think the Knicks should win this matchup in 5. I don't think they should struggle with this matchup. I think struggling with this matchup poses a bigger question potentially about coaching. And I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just putting it out there that you should not struggle in this matchup when you're healthy. You've had the time off. You've had cohesion. You're able to set your lineups. You guys should be well rested after coming off that 82-game season, which you played in way too many minutes. There's no reason the Knicks should struggle in this matchup, especially with home court advantage. You get rid of them in 5. You get ready for Boston. The longer the series goes on, the shortest the Boston series will be, in my opinion. The Knicks should not struggle. I'm having faith in your Knicks. I don't want you to come on here and try to talk down on them or try to play the fence. They should win in 5. They are the better team. They have the better players. They had an MVP caliber player until he was injured, in my opinion. So I got Knicks in 5. I'm going chalk.
Okay. Justin, your thoughts on this matchup? 3-6 in the East.
Knicks in 7.
Okay, 7. I think that's respectable. I think that's respectable.
That's too many games.
I'm not happy about that. We just a grinding out team. We don't really sweep anybody. We should have beat Philadelphia in 4 to 5 games. It took us 6 or 7 games to beat them last year. They just don't play that kind of brand of basketball just to get somebody on the court and get rid of them. That's what grinding out teams do, unfortunately, and that's what we are. We're still trying to find ourselves. We only beat Detroit, I think, once this year. Cade Cunningham, I already predicted, will be a top 10 player out of his generation. So, what better time than start putting people on notice is, unfortunately, in the playoffs, and we are up to bat for him, and he's going to give us some work, and it's just no denying it. So it is what it is. This somberness is just I'm already bracing myself for this extended series. So this time next week or whenever it starts in a week and a half or whatever, if you see me smiling and giddy, that means we done got like 3-0 out of nowhere, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. But I don't. I think it's going to be a tough series. This team is physically can match us player for player. Their best player is tough. So we'll see.
The only thing I push back on, I know y'all, like you said, y'all only won once, but the game y'all won, y'all were healthy. So you were missing Brunson in one matchup, you're missing Cat in one matchup. And then the last matchup, y'all played them last Sunday. I'm sorry. So that game was, the playoff season was already set. So I don't really put too much stock in just the regular season matchups.
No, and I'm not. Well, I have to for us because we haven't really beat the upper echelon teams. And I'm not saying Detroit is one of those upper teams. It's just we struggle, and that's on our head. Like, we know that. So it's tough. It's going to be a tough out. We got to see if Mikal Bridges can come out and start balling. We haven't really seen him play a premier role in the playoffs since maybe in Phoenix when he actually went to the finals, but it wasn't really because of him. So We gotta see what Cat continue that success of last year's playoffs until this year. That's a whole different Cat. I gotta see it for myself because last year's Cat was totally different than any other time I saw Cat in playoffs. So it's those kind of things. The only person I trust is Jalen Brunson, and the problem with Jalen Brunson is he like to go Kobe too many goddamn times, pass the goddamn ball.
Oh
I
God.
don't trust nobody
So
else.
I've been saying this to y'all all year. He should be averaging over 10 assists. If he's not averaging that and he's trying to score, that's not a good thing for our team. Just it is what it is.
Well, that's why y'all made the offseason moves y'all made so he wouldn't have to go like that. So
Yeah, but he's still doing
let's see if it pays off in the playoffs. The game's changed in the playoff. We all know that. Let's stay in the Eastern Conference 4 and 5 matchup. You got the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. If you haven't been paying attention, since Damon's been gone, the Bucks look kind of good to me. I don't know. That boy Giannis is on a tear, and every night he just putting up big number after big number. I think getting Bobby Portis back has been big for them.
Yeah.
I think that's really helped. I think Kuzma sucks, but I knew that when they made the trade. But we'll see if they're able to utilize him a little better in the rotation. If Doc is able to integrate him in there. But again, with Giannis back as the centerpiece of the offense, might be a tough out. Even though I think on paper Indiana is better, I don't know. What you think, McCallum?
I always go with the best player. I think that's Giannis. And if you're a betting person, this is the series that you bet because there's going to be a lot of points, a lot of assists up and down. I think it's going to be just a high scoring affair and however long the series goes. But I'm gonna go with Giannis. I'm gonna go with the better player, the best player, who I think is going to be in the series. I think Indiana is the better team, but Giannis is just taking his game to another level, being a ball handler, just doing everything for that team. You get another body and Bobby Portis, another potential scorer. You kind of can slide Kuzma into that, third option that Bobby Portis it has his hot hand as well. So they're really underrated. And if they get Dame back, I know it's still a long shot, or he's been ruled out for the first couple games of this series. But if you get Dame back going into Cleveland, rested,
could be tough.
It makes it interesting. And that's down the road. But in this series, I like Milwaukee.
Justin, what's your thoughts?
I agree with you 100% when it comes to Milwaukee. They've been on a hot. They had a lot of cakewalks the last couple of games, but they still won about 8 in a row. So they are on some kind of fire. You can't tell them that they're not high on themselves right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Giannis is very comfortable right now. Kevin Porter Jr. is balling for them. He's coming in with no fear. Kyle Kuzma, he's going to play dividends in the playoffs. Just so you wait and see. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting this team to bounce back from Dame's injury as well as they are. I won't say it's an addition by subtraction. It's just
just a different type of.
It's a different team. More players getting involved. So and like you said, Bobby Portis coming back at the right. He just had an extended break. Let's just call it what it is. When you get suspended, you're not hurt or nothing like that. You just got a break. So he's 100% fresh. So they can actually rely on him playing even more minutes to balance Giannis's 4 to his 5 in a sense, right? So you ain't got to see that much of Brook Lopez if it's not working for them. It's just a beautiful thing right now that they got going on. And this is what Indiana wanted. They wanted this matchup. They lost, I think their last game, which they could have played at least 1 or 2 more of their starters to get to the 3 seed. This is what they want. They wanted Giannis, and I don't think Giannis is going to take that lightly. 5 games, no, hell, 4 games. Let's call it. Somebody got to get swept.
Damn. Okay, I ain't going that far.
I wasn't saying that.
I give him 1. I give him. Hey man. Minnesota, they still got Siakam. I mean, Indiana, they still got Siakam. They're like, I don't know. I'll give them more than that. They still a good team. Anyway, let's go over to the Western Conference for the final matchup of this first round. And that's the Denver Nuggets hosting the Los Angeles Clippers, who have been one of the hottest teams in all of basketball. James Harden, no Paul George, no problem, because Kawhi Leonard is back. A healthy Kawhi is still a great player in this league. I'll take nothing from him. Look, you know how I feel about what he did to my Spurs, but I never said he wasn't a great player. But healthy, the man has been playing great on both sides of the court. I don't think this matchup would be far-fetched to see the Clippers walk out of here with a victory. As great as Joker is, I don't know what the status of Jamal Murray is. I haven't seen him enough. I haven't seen this team enough healthy to get a good feel for it. You lose your coach, fire Mike Malone right before the playoffs. We didn't get a chance to talk about that on this show, but that was shocking. We heard about all the turmoil behind the scenes, possibly over playing time for Russell Westbrook. Was it Jamal Murray who pitched a fit about it? Was Murray ready and kind of like not excited to get back on the court because his minutes was getting shared? Russell Westbrook, I don't know. We'll see what this new coach is able to do coming in with this veteran team. How will Joker respond? How will you get the best out of all these role players that they have? These rotations are going to be very interesting. It's just a lot of questions. You got in a built-in excuse almost. When you fire your coach this close to the playoffs, you lose. Nobody expects you to win when you had that much turmoil. Your general manager and your head coach gone right before you go into the postseason. Just wild that you would do something like that. But I'm going to look at the positive side. I think the Clippers are playing hot. And I think as much as I respect the Joker, it might be a lot to overcome. I might go with the Clippers in 7. Nah, if you get the 7, Denver winning. I can't say that. So if you're going to get them, you better win in 6. What's your thoughts on this one, Justin? I'll start with you.
You said a lot of good points in that coaching thing. You know, I'm just not. I'm not there to think that Jokic can outplay himself and coach a team along with the assistant coach. He's not Bill Russell. I just don't see him doing that. And if he does, then I have a whole new respect for Nikola Jokic as a whole. But right now, Clippers in 5.
Damn.
I think they're just playing very well right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's just too much for Jokic to overcome. I think he's the best player in the world, but I don't think he has enough help. And like you said, I don't know if Murray's healthy, but that Murray Westbrook backcourt seemed to be successful, but it still wasn't enough in the regular season. The Clippers are just playing well. You know, Harden, Kawhi, they're no back-to-back, so you're going to get, they're going to be able to get that rest.
Good point.
Knowing Powell was playing well.
Powell's big.
Zubac playing well. I'm not saying he's going to, stop Jokic.
Keep him in front of him, though. He'll stay in front of him.
And he'll give you a double-double, and he'll give you something offensively where you can throw the ball to him, and he'll make a move and get a basket. So the Clippers are deep, and obviously they have the better coach in this matchup, just based off, the tenure of Coach Tyler Lue versus the guy that's coached 3 games. So
they got Jeff Van Gundy on the bench better than who their head coach is.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I got Clippers in 7. I think Jokic makes it a series. I think Jokic has a phenomenal game. It's going to be maybe a 20
I gotta cut you
game.
off there. If it's going 7, you think Denver's going to lose at home in 7?
Winning.
They lost at home last year in 7.
Yeah,
they lose to
Minnesota.
That's true.
They did.
It
was different though. It was a whole different vibe.
No, you're right though. You're right. It's not like they're unstoppable, and they were the defending champs when that happened, weren't they?
Yeah.
They won 2 years ago. Yeah. Interesting. Again, I just got a lot of respect for Joker, but I got too many questions with everything going on around him. So nobody is invincible, can overcome everything. All right, this is going to be an interesting playoff run. And let's make our predictions now. Just official. I know we did it preseason and all that good stuff, but just on the record right now, with everything as we know it, it's simple. Who's coming out the West? Who's coming out the East? Who's winning the title? Calvin, I'll start with you.
I got OKC and the Lakers in the conference finals. I got OKC winning out the West. East, I got Cleveland and Boston in the conference finals with Boston winning. So I have an Oklahoma City, Boston NBA finals, and I think Boston goes back to back.
Okay, Justin, what you got?
I definitely have OKC representing the Western Conference now. I still got a shot with Dallas, but it's not the same.
That's a hell of a shot. They go from 10-1.
And the other conference, guys, I'm just saying it for the love of the team, man. I got the Knicks making it. I don't even know how right now. Well, we gotta let the games play out, and then I'll tell you how. And I'm gonna act like I said it the whole time.
Okay. And who's winning the title?
Oh, I mean, we get that far. It's New York all the way.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, for me, I look, I'm just sticking with what my gut is telling me. I just think OKC is not there yet. I know everybody believes that that's it, but I just can't.
Say your conference finals as well, because I didn't get mine.
Yeah, my conference finals right now is going to be the Lakers and the Thunder. I got the Lakers going to the finals with Luka. Look, I got it, man. I just see where it is, and I got the Lakers losing the NBA champ. Well, let me start with the Eastern Conference. I got Cleveland making it. I got Cleveland in Boston, and I got Cleveland winning in a 7-game series. I got Cleveland winning at home, and I got LeBron going back to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers in the finals. And it is what it is, man. I'm going with Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Donovan. Let's go bring this thing home, baby. I've been on the train since your rookie year in Utah. Let's do it. Let's do it, Donovan. I believe in you. This is your playoff run. Everybody talking about Boston. Everybody talking about the Knicks. Y'all want to talk about OKC. Y'all forgetting about the Cavs. They was the hottest team all year. They went on these long winning streaks. We lulled y'all into a little sleepiness lately. We took our foot off the gas. We was comfortably ahead. We was good. Now it's time to kick it back up. Playoff time, baby. Don't nobody want to play us. Y'all talk. Yeah. You don't want to take to play the Cavs. You don't. They deep.
You said us?
I love Donovan Mitchell. I'm going where Donovan go, baby. I ain't no Cavs fan. I'm going where Donovan go. Let's go. I think this team is primed and ready to make a run. I got the Cavaliers winning the NBA championship this year.
First and foremost, LeBron James is not losing to Cleveland Cavaliers.
I was going to say the same thing. He ain't losing to Cleveland.
Maybe the old LeBron.
He ain't losing to Cleveland.
He will shoot up if he has to in order to win that.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
It's not going to happen.
Well, he won't get that far then.
Not to Cleveland, but not in Cleveland. That ain't happening.
He won't get that far then.
I want to put this out there just in case I'm right. I got Houston going to the conference finals. I just think after they get past Warriors and the Lakers, it's just too much for them, and then they fall to OKC. But I'm a believer in Udoka. I've seen what he did. I seen what he did with Boston, how he destroyed that Brooklyn team. He destroyed the Warriors a couple games ago, Calvin, which you didn't necessarily put in your soliloquy earlier. So it's just okay. I need to put that out there. That way I can say at least I said it if it does come true. Get my own damn self pat on the back.
There you go. All right, let's do a couple superlatives for the regular season since this is wrapped up now. Just a reminder of who finished what. Shea finished as your points leader for the year. Sabonis finished leading the league in rebounds. Trae Young led the league in assists, which I know shocked some people, but
like third straight year, something like that.
Yeah, but he been doing his thing. You know what I mean? Victor Wembanyama, who has missed how many games, led the league in blocks, and he's been gone for like ever. And
he led the league in blocks. That's just not ever. He led the league in blocks too.
He led the league in blocks.
Okay,
that's ridiculous. And then you got the leader in steals is Dyson Daniels. Anybody know Dyson Daniels?
Yeah. He's up for defensive player of the year.
Yeah. There you go. He led the league in steals. So those are your official.
He's like double the next closest person. Like next closest person averaging like 1.4.
Sometimes with small markets, you really ain't watching like that. But look at Trae Young, man, leading the league. When we talk about top playoff point guards in the league, how far do you go down the list before you say Trae Young? You know what I mean? Like that's very interesting to me. All right, so who's your MVP? Let's just go around the room. Is everybody locked in on Shea? Is that your final answer, Calvin?
Yeah, my final answer is Shea. Look, I understand Jokic's numbers. He finished top 5, I think, in like points, rebounds, assists, steals, everything but blocks, I believe. However, I'm going to take win-loss record into account, something that wasn't taken into account last year. I'm going to take plus-minus into account. I think Shea's plus-minus is like plus 900. The closest is Jokic at like plus 620. So he makes his teammates that much better. He's that much better when on the court than Jokic. And I don't know, with the internal turmoil in Denver just kind of solidifies what Jokic had to deal with. And maybe that makes you look at him like he did that. He put up these numbers when having to deal with this. However, it still says something to me when you are a player of his caliber, get your coach fired, and then you still want to be considered in that class of MVP. I'm not saying it's Jokic's fault. I'm just saying he's not the MVP this year.
You said he got his coach fired. Come on, man.
Yeah,
he made
the last call.
They let him know this is what we're doing.
If he said he didn't want Malone to go, Malone would still be there.
I think that's not how the conversation went down.
No. Okay. I'm not saying they went to him and said, "Do you want Malone gone?" He said yes. I'm saying if he wanted to back Malone and he did, Malone would still be there. That's all I'm saying.
They don't have a choice. Either they probably definitely don't want him to return, but Denver is a good enough team to go to the finals. So then you be that team to get rid of your head coach after you go to the finals.
You're saying Malone's holding him back?
No, I'm not saying he's holding him back.
I think they wanted to get rid of both of them. Regardless.
I'm telling you that they can win it, and then you how stupid do you look getting rid of your championship
it's like getting
winning?
Rid of Phil Jackson.
You know what I mean?
And look, they can get swept. They can get swept in 4. They get swept in 4 and say that led to toxic environment. So I'm getting away from the point. I got Shai's MVP.
All right, Justin, you agree?
I agree based off what I said at the beginning of the season that they was going to give it to Shai based off because he should have got it last year. Number 2 always is the front runner for the next year.
I agree with that.
All right, who's your defensive player of the year?
He should have won last year.
Justin.
Are we doing the 65 game thing?
You got to. Ain't nobody else eligible.
I'm not going to give it to Draymond. Give it to the young boy that's doing the 3 steals. I don't care. Just not going to give it to
Draymond. Calvin.
I wanted to. Yeah, I'd have leaned Dyson Daniels only because of him being, especially in that Atlanta environment. I don't think Draymond deserves. I don't think Rudy deserves it. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say Dyson Daniels.
Well, I'll go with Draymond. I don't understand why he don't deserve it. If he got putting up the numbers and his team has had success with him anchoring the defense, he deserves the award. But fine, whatever.
Oh, no, I'll take that back. No, I'm not giving him the Dort. I'll take that back. No.
You had an epiphany, and then the epiphany.
No, I thought about Dort, and then I was like, it's the defensive numbers for the whole team are better. So I'm not going
to say what Shannon say. Lou Dort.
I ain't giving the Dort.
Anyway, rookie of the year. Who's your rookie of the year, Calvin?
Kid Castle from out of San Antonio. I think he was the best rookie. Especially with San Antonio, with the amount of playing time he got playing with Wemby early in the season, playing with Chris Paul, I think that really helped him as a rookie, helped him, mature in his rookie season. So I'm giving it to Castle.
I'm also giving it to Stephen Castle, or Stephon Castle. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but yeah, let's go with Stephen. It's giving credence to the fact that this San Antonio team should be in the playoffs right now if Wemby didn't get hurt. But they have a bright future. He's a very talented ball player. They're going to get a top-tier pick this year. Hell, they might even mess around and get like a top 5 pick, which would be outstanding for this franchise. And I hate to say it, but San Antonio is back on the map for the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. Now, I know the NBA does like 6th man of the year and all that kind of stuff. I don't like those awards. Let's just go to most improved player. Who's a player who maybe last year was good and now they're great, or was, pretty average and now they made themselves a name for themselves this season? Calvin, who would be a candidate for you for that type of award?
I already said the name. I'm going to say it again in Dyson Daniels. I think once they traded Daniel Hunter to Cleveland, he got more playing time. He was better defensively. He was better offensively. So it was improvement during the season. So he may not win it because it wasn't a consistent improvement during the season. But I think the leap was so good in his defensive numbers that you got to consider him. So I would give him most improved. Okay. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he deserves consideration.
What do you think, Justin?
being the fact the way he came from, I was going to go with the same guy. But I tell you what, it's not Cade Cunningham. I'm hearing his name floating around a lot for most improved player. I hate when they give top tier picks most improved. They're not most improved. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So that stands to be not my number one. It took like 2 years. And if not him,
he's been for 4 years.
He's been playing for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If it's not him, then I'm going with Norman Powell.
Norman Powell, that's a great pick. He really stepped his game up this year, really making an impact. I go with AR, man. I mean, look, that guy really has stepped his game up. And one might say he's the number 2 player on the Los Angeles Lakers here lately. So, I mean, Austin Reeves really has made himself a household name out there in LA and a real-time player that they have to defend and have to account for. I think he's really made a name for himself. So, I'll go AR. That's my pick. All right, good awards. Coach of the Year, who you got, Calvin? I know it's not on the screen.
I want to go Atkinson because of what he did in Cleveland, leading them to the best record in the East. They were fighting for the best record in the league for most of the year. But I kind of want to go with I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he was a former coach. He was a former coach of DC, the guy in Detroit.
Bickerstaff?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
I kind of want to go with Bickerstaff. Oh, I'm sorry. He was in Houston, I believe. So I kind of want to go with Bickerstaff, just what he's done with that roster, and considering who they had last year in Monty Williams and what more he was able to get out of the roster, get out of Cade, getting Cade to be a top 15 player. I think he's going to be on All NBA team. So I'll go with Bickerstaff.
Who you got, Justin?
Ime Udoka. Yet again, Houston was flamed out in the playoffs. I don't think they made it to the playoffs last year. I think they was like a play-in team, if that. No, they was just out the play-in team, so they didn't even make it. So to go from that range to the number 2 team in the Western Conference speaks wide volumes. He got all those players playing at a high level, defensive first. Jalen Green, you're not hearing stories about his girlfriend and nobody because his play on the court is that much better. Shout out to Ime Udoka.
Okay, good picks. Good picks all the way around.
That's funny.
All right, let's get into our list for the week. This is our final one of the series. This has been fun. We've been doing it each and every week. Our era. So we comparing the eras and we ranking them. So right now, this is our last week of ranking the eras of the players of each era. And then next week, then we'll go down the line of determining which era was the best. And then we'll talk about the criteria for all of that. But for right now, we're going to go through this silent era and put these people in order.
We need to establish who some of these players are. I did not know who the first person to the right of Kareem was.
Jesus Christ. We'll go through the list. Don't worry.
You ain't say a name either. You ain't say
Earl
name.
I'm the one put the list together. That's Earl.
That's Earl.
Earl.
They say they black Jesus out here. That's black Jesus,
picture.
man.
It ain't a good picture.
Hey, the man's black. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
And who's to right him?
So
it ain't a good picture.
We'll go through this a little and blow it up so you all can see it really good. And again, we have all the players here that used to play for the New York Knicks. I see his little jersey on. You know who this at. You know who that is, don't you? Elgin Baylor. You know who that is. Come on.
Alvin Hayes.
All right.
Alvin.
So anyway.
I thought you picked the Alvin Hayes. My fault.
Okay. So, I was like, wait.
So
yeah.
Calvin,
in the black and white.
Right here?
Yeah.
What do you think that is? Come on, give me a guess. Give me a solid guess.
In the black and white where? In the middle?
Right here.
Oh, Lord. It shouldn't be black and white. I'll say that. It should be a color.
Hey, man. It was the PNG transparent that was on Google.
I'm not knocking it, but he played he played in the 70s more so than the 60s.
God damn it. That's the picture I had.
I'm not knocking that. I'm just trying to tell Calvin.
I'm knocking it.
All All right. Let's go through these people who are eligible by name so everyone knows who we're talking about. Again, this is the solid era of basketball. So, of course, there are a pool of names here that everybody knows. So we went through and we said, who are some of the best players from the solid era? Of course, we're not going to be able to put everybody on the graphic. We're going to name the top 15 that we have eligible. So when we went through the list, I tried to kind of narrow it down. I asked Calvin, give me your list. I asked Justin, give me your list. And of course, we had some similars in Willis Reed, Moses Malone, Walt Frazier, Earl Pearl Monroe, Elgin Baylor, George Gervin, Julius Erving, Wes Unseld, Pistol Pete, Havlicek. You know, these are names that you all know, that Bob Cousy, Elgin Baylor. These guys are synonymous with what we call the solid era of basketball, and that's how it's described. So, again, most of us, we were either extremely, no, we weren't even, most of these people were playing, maybe Moses Malone was still in the league. Who else was still in the league? Dr. J.
Kareem
was still holding on.
Late 80s.
But for the most part, most of these people's career was before our time. But you know, you got the Big O, you got there's some great players on this list from yesteryear. So our job is, this is what I said. We're going to go reverse order this time. Instead of starting at the bottom, we'll start at the top and then work our way down. How y'all like that?
That's fine.
I think that will really just help us flesh out the list for all of us. So, because look, at the end of the day, we know who we would assume were the best players of the solid era. And I think this will really help narrow it down. Then we can have more of a discussion around it that makes a little bit more sense.
Wait, is that Nate Archibald?
No,
I didn't
know on this list.
No, he's not on the list. Again, let's start at the top. Calvin, if you had to say who was the best player from the solid era, and then we can have some discussion about it. Again, I don't want to disrespect anybody by starting at the least. Let's start at the top.
Yeah, so I'm starting at the top. I'm going with Bill Russell, the greatest winner, the greatest champion of all time. Didn't have the greatest statistics, but he was able to hold arguably the best all-around player in Wilt Chamberlain, basically ringless during this time. Wilt won. But Bill Russell was a player coach. He was the pinnacle, the captain of the Boston Celtics team, the leader of that Boston Celtics team that won, 11 rings in total. Like I said, he didn't have the best stats, but he is the greatest winner. I'm all about winning. I'm all about stats. I'm all about numbers. I'm going to give it to the guy, the defensive stalwart, the captain, the leader of that team, the one that held other players without rings. I'm going to go with Bill Russell.
Okay. Justin, who you got?
It got to be Bill. To
All
get 11 of those things. Shout out to Red Auerbach for negotiating with the draft and giving up what you needed to give up to add him to a Bill Sharman, Bob Cousy led Boston Celtics team, and they definitely reeked off on that.
Well, I hate to be different,
man. If you don't put that man on there,
but when I look at basketball and I think about who are the greatest players, when I put a top 5 together, a lot of times I say, of course, Jordan. Now you have LeBron, Magic.
What are we doing?
Number 4 on my list has always been Kareem. That's just me. Look, 6-time MVP, 6 rings. Like, I don't look, I get it. 11 rings is impressive. I'm never going to poo-poo 11 rings. But those teams were stacked. And I'm not saying that Bill was not the best player. I can't speak to that all the time. But I know what Kareem was. And Kareem led this league in a lot of categories for a lot of time. So not only was he a winner, but he had the individual accolades along with it. So just for me, I go Kareem number 1. That's just my opinion. And then I'll go with Bill. Just look, everybody got their opinion. But 6 MVP awards. How many MVPs did Bill Russell win? I mean,
they didn't have MVP back then, at least at the start of his career.
Hey, he was Wilt. We talk about Wilt and what Wilt did as an individual, and people say, well, he didn't beat Bill Russell. That's fine. But Kareem was a different animal for his time. And he combined winning also with individual accolades, not just in LA, but when he was in Milwaukee too. I give him credit for that. That's just my opinion. Justin, who you up? What you got?
You ain't going. Oh, you already went twice.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like Kareem, man. I think he's overrated. I said it. How is Kareem overrated?
Yeah, I understand that.
He came out on the scene. He was dominant. We're not going to take that away from him. But as soon as he went to LA, he no championships, no significant playoff runs, no nothing. He was trash in the 70s. He really was.
He won a title in LA, right?
No, he won a title when who showed up? When Magic showed up, and then Magic took that thing to a whole different level. Okay. Yes, so that's all I'm saying. That's why when his name is synonymous with 6, like Jordan was. Jordan was the catalyst for every single championship. We know that. Kareem was not the catalyst for every single championship.
Hold on. Let me pause you. Let's pause you for the discussion point now. So, do we use that same criteria when it comes to Kobe and Shaq?
Don't they always say that? Hey, Kobe had Shaq the first 3.
We did our list 2 weeks ago, and you had Kobe at very high. You had Shaq very high, right?
I had Shaq number 1.
Exactly. But
you take it away from Kareem.
But you take it away from Kareem. But Kobe was what, number 2 or 3?
Finals MVP every time he stepped up to plate, except for the 4th one.
Kareem got Finals MVP. Yes, he do. Look him up.
How many he got?
I can look it up right quick.
Wait. How many does he have from LA? Is that what you mean?
Yes, we know he got one from Milwaukee, which I gave him that.
Yo, Kareem was dominant.
2.
1971, 1985. He won first final MVP when he was 24, and then he won when he was 38. He got 2. That ain't nothing to poo-poo.
The greatest, the quote unquote, the best of this ever, the best of all this that you're saying. He got 2 Finals MVP.
Yes,
I know he had 2. That's why I set this whole thing up. That's not saying that you're dominant. That's why I said him, and like I said, I'm bringing up Jordan because y'all bring up 6 like that. Like, he's not synonymous with 6. That belongs to Magic. Magic was the one that was running in LA when soon as he stepped on the court. It was Magic's show. Kareem was along for the ride the whole entire time. Somebody need to say it. Somebody got to put it out there. And those that know, they really know. They just
come on. You can't say that.
They're stuck on the UCLA Lou Alcindor version of him.
You can't say that. Everybody know that team. Magic was no doubt about it.
Catalyst.
The problem you got is you're talking 2 different eras. Magic is not in this era. If both of them were in the same era,
correct.
Then
in
we
this
can say,
era,
one takes away from the other.
We're talking about
this era.
He was the 3rd guy in this era. It was Bill. It was Wilt. Old Wilt was checking. They was checking in young Kareem. They really was. I'm just gonna be. Somebody got to call it.
But
somebody said the skyhook was never blocked. Wilt blocked that.
That's like saying Jordan's era is what 80. What did he come in 80?
Jordan's era is 90s because he didn't win the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. He came in the 80s. He ain't win nothing until the 90s. But you're not going to discount Jordan because when he wasn't during the Bad Boys time or this time he wasn't winning no titles.
Like, he took advantage. He didn't take advantage. Let me not say that. He was a beneficiary of the 70s in which no one was really watching NBA basketball. They was watching the ABA and things like that. If you bring in Julius Erving when he was doing his thing in the ABA and you bring that guy to the NBA, we're not talking about Kareem the way we talk about him. Because
But
Julius
Kareem
was
is
Jordan
a
before Jordan.
6 times MVP, 6 times champion. That has to count for something. That's
Four to
all
five
I'm
of
saying.
them. 4 to 5 of them go to Magic. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So who you putting at your spot?
Putting Wilt there.
Wilt.
Mr.
Okay,
Mr. Record Breaker.
make your case for Wilt.
Mr. Record Breaker. Whatever rules that you had, Wilt destroyed them. It's just it is what it is. Whatever stats you had, the man put up 100 in the game. Calvin, I don't care if it was filmed or not filmed. Shit, you can shut the hell up. You gotta go to you got a picture of young Wilt down there. He's
Where am I at?
to the left.
To the left, yeah.
There you
Below
go.
that.
Down.
Yeah, I'm about to
Yeah.
say, where the hell is that
Yeah.
Wilt?
He
You
got
look
the
like
Philadelphia.
Stephen A. Smith.
He got the Philadelphia jersey on.
You look like Stephen A. Go ahead.
No, this guy, he just greatness solidified in one play. He just didn't have a solid team to go against said Boston Celtics, but he gave everybody hella fits. We already know all those things. It's just I'll put him against a young Kareem, and I'll say I was more impressed with a young Wilt than a young Kareem. Me personally.
That's your personal opinion. Go ahead, Calvin.
Kareem, 6 rings, 5 MVPs.
We just never have like a consistent top 3. Just
he was.
That's the point of a discussion.
He was the all-time leading scorer up until a couple years ago.
And that counts for something.
Played almost
Magic
20
average.
years.
He has the highest average of double-digit assists. Guess
And you
what?
know what's crazy?
Because he was giving them
You know what's
bunnies.
crazy?
Take
You know
that,
what's crazy?
Kareem.
When they couldn't beat Boston, who did they have to go to? They had to go to a 39-year-old captain to get it done.
There you go.
In that Boston
There you
Garden
go.
on that
Say it
parquet.
again.
So
Okay.
it wasn't when they
He
when
got
they
hurt,
and
a rookie came in and destroyed. What you saying?
And then when they started calling Magic Tragic Johnson, who had to come back and get those rings? It was Kareem. It was the captain.
No, it was
so
still
he
Magic.
deserves the majority of the credit. This was during Magic's prime. They were going back to Kareem. They needed Kareem to win some of those rings. I'm not saying Magic didn't do his part, but I'm saying when Kareem was old and he had to go dig down deep, he got it done. He got it done.
6-time MVP, not 5. You messed that up. 6-time. That's right.
I said 6 and 5 rings. I thought that's what I said.
No, he got 6 rings and 6 MVPs.
6 and 6.
Okay.
That's right.
He got the MVPs in the 70s, which probably 3 of them should have went to Dr. J.
He got one in the 80s.
But it is what
it is. And he probably could have won more MVPs, just like LeBron only got 4, but he could have won more. You know what I mean? At some point, you get tired of winning with the same.
No, they would have kept. They would have kept doing it. They would have kept doing it. They didn't want to.
6
Bird and Magic was getting them things.
Who you got at your number 3, Calvin?
At number 3, look, you ain't gonna like this. I got Jerry West, the logo.
Wow.
I got the logo. Jerry West, in my opinion, was more important to the Lakers franchise than Wilt Chamberlain.
Dude, nobody care about the franchise. What was he doing in Solid Generation? What are you saying?
Wilt put up the numbers, the empty stats, because they were
anybody should have got an MVP in a losing performance, it should have been goddamn Wilt Chamberlain.
To winning, but Jerry West got it. They were not tied to winning until Jerry West came there. Until Jerry West had to drag the carcass of Wilt Chamberlain. Like, this is how you win. This is how you win.
So he didn't win it when Wilt was there. So he didn't win it when Wilt wasn't there, and then Wilt show up, he wins. But that's not on Wilt.
And did Wilt win before Jerry West?
He sure did.
Did Wilt win before Jerry West?
He sure did.
He got one in LA.
He got 2. He got 2. One for the Philadelphia Warriors and one for the Golden State. How you not going to count a championship?
No ABA championship.
It wasn't the ABA. It was the NBA.
I'm discrediting regardless. Jerry West the logo.
Y'all terrible.
Can't win with the logic, yo. This logic needs more logic. This is crazy. Is it my turn?
I don't know about that one, though.
All right. Now we can throw in Kareem, man. Just talk.
Throw him in, like afterthought. Put some respect on that man's name. That's the captain, damn it.
The captain is further on in this list, by the way. Shout out to Willis Reed. I got you, big boy. I got you. Anyway. I ain't got nothing to say.
Nothing to say. No respect given.
Y'all said everything. I had to give the objective opinion on them. That's all.
Man, all right. If we're gonna be objective and tell it like it is, Okay, I'll
The
go
king of
with
the non-ABA 1970s.
Look, man,
Kareem
what
Abdul-Jabbar.
was a stat machine? He was probably the most dominant guy. You score as many points as he did. I know a lot of people hold what Bill Russell was able to do to him against him, but as an individual, give him credit. I wish I was alive to see the man play and judge it more closely for myself. But from everything, all accounts, he just wasn't. He just wasn't a winner. So that's just part of his problem. For me, next guy. Now I'm going off of just me knowing the game, the way I watch the game, and look. Some guys can do some things. Some guys can do a little bit of everything. And I'm going with the big O. Look, man, the guy was a stat machine, but he was an all-around basketball player. Some of the things that we give people credit for, how they play the game, they took a lot of that athleticism from. Look, the man was just a walking like triple-double. He could do it all, man. He could pass, he could defend, he could score, he could rebound the basketball. And I just think from a talent perspective, he deserved to be in that next crop of stars. And I put him, George Gervin, right neck and neck for type of guys that I'm going to put on my list.
George,
and that's what I'm going right there. Justin?
I can't believe you put Jerry West top 3 in this game.
Jerry
That's so
West,
disrespectful.
the
Oh
logo.
man, I like the Oscar Robertson joint. I'm not gonna put him as my next guy, but I like that. At this spot is Dr. J, man. Enough said, man. Shout out to the ABA days. I saw you. I was there. I saw you. Doing wizardry with the ball. Couldn't nobody stop him. Shout out to David Thompson and the lights, but he is the premier high flyer to ever step foot on the first one to step foot out here. Shout out to Earl Manigault. But the extensive list up here is crazy. I'm trying to tell y'all. But no, it's Dr. J. Had he been in the NBA, like I said, a lot of those stats, a lot of those awards that went to other people would have went to him because he was just that damn good. He is the reason why the ABA lasted as long as it did. Dr. J. They call him Doctor.
Who you got, Calvin?
Yeah, I got Wilt next. I'm just trying to understand why we got video of Man on the Moon. We got video of all this other stuff, but I can't get not one motion picture film, something steady of this alleged 100-point game.
Alleged.
That's all I'm gonna say. I need some video. Let me just see something let me just see something in color. We had color television. You had the ability to do that. Let me just see something in color to show that 100-point game, and I'll get up my soapbox about that. Until that point, Kobe's 81 is what I'll go by. What the standard is.
Next. Come on! Just because you ain't see it ain't happen.
Did you see it?
Don't matter.
My point exactly. I got Dr. J next as well. 7-time All-Star, 3-time champ, ABA, 2 in the ABA, 1 in the NBA. Like Justin said, if he was in, the NBA, you can only imagine the numbers and what he would have put up. But even with those ABA, they just counting those stats. Defensive player of the year. I think like 16, 17-time All-Star, something like that. So like you said, the perennial high flyer. He was what I consider the first high flyer. And you can still see some of his just some of his layups and dunks to this day, just rocking the baby along the baseline, the up and under on the baseline with the layup. That's what you think about when you think about high flyers, the perennial Dr. J. So I got him coming in top 5.
Okay. Who you got, there, young fella, Justin?
Whatever your name is, nigga. Let's go with I think now we're going to go with I'm not gonna put him there yet. Moses Malone.
Moses.
We're gonna go Moses. We're gonna go Moses. We're gonna go to Moses.
Over the big O.
Goddamn right. He was when you hear the term 4-4-4, that was him damn near calling a perfect postseason sweep when they did take it. This man started the ABA, came over to the NBA, dominated as soon as he stepped foot on the court. Didn't matter who it was. People forget how dominant he was. Grabbing boards, putting them back. Nice little jumper that he had, of 15-foot jumper. He gave everybody up there problems. He gave Kareem problems. He gave Julius his championship because Julius couldn't get over the hump.
He gave him the championship.
He couldn't beat Boss. This is an older Julius in the 80s now. Come on, you gotta stay with me now. Stay with me.
Julius was top 5 MVP voting that year. They won a championship.
He was still an older Julius. It wasn't like the 70s Julius, right? It wasn't the 76 Julius that went against Bill Walton, right? It wasn't that guy, right? What I'm saying is he couldn't get over the hump versus Boston. They brought him over from Houston, and he came through, and he just ran the table damn near. I respect people to run the table. Moses Malone played for like 17 to 22, something like that. Crazy number of years. Solid every single year, and he peaked, got MVPs himself. Moses Malone was a problem.
I just think great player, not taking nothing away from him. But you can't put him in front of Oscar Robertson. I'm sorry, man.
Why not?
Compare the numbers. The triple-double king? Are you kidding me?
He didn't get MVP that year.
But, okay, let's look at the stats.
He didn't get MVP that year.
Moses average.
Oh, my goodness.
Moses had average, let's see his best years. Let's see, 77, 78 was his first year. He averaged 9. No, his first year averaged 18, finished third in rookie of the year. Good. Then he averaged 14, 13. He missed the year. 13, 19, 24, 25, 27, 31, 24. So his high for his career is 31. And other than that, basically a career average of maybe 23.
Whatever you're about to say, the name I'm going to give you to
20.
Trump Oscar, you're going to be like, well, I'm going to shut the hell up. But go ahead, continue.
No,
are you going to
run
up
Oscar?
Okay.
Oscar, first year, 30, rookie of the year, MVP. 30 the next year, 28, 31, 30, 31, 30, 29. Come on, man. Come on.
If you're going by that, then why didn't you put Elgin Baylor up higher? Why do you have him? Because his numbers was better than Oscar's.
Different era. And he played on a
was scoring better.
I'm talking about Oscar Robertson was playing. He was the man. He was the man. The man. He had no George Mikan. He had no help. He had him. That was it. No.
West too.
Exactly. Like, we ain't talking about no collection of talent. We're talking about Oscar, the big O, by itself. So that's just my opinion.
Understood. Shout out to the Kansas, the Cincinnati, whatever Royals he was
on. Yeah. And then he was with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But yeah, the king, whatever. Anyway, Moses, not disrespected. I'm just saying, like, come on.
Hey man, anyway, this is truly a big man's league.
Yeah. I'll go with Dr. J next for me. No disrespect, putting nobody over him, but I just think from a scoring, rebounding, assist, I gotta go the big O before him. But Dr. J was the human highlight reel before Jordan, before, like you say, David Thompson, all that. This guy was the guy, you know what I mean? That we wearing the Converses. That's the look with the afro. When we think of the ABA, like you say, a lot of the stuff that we didn't even get to see in the NBA until later. But yeah, give him all the credit in the world. I definitely give respect where respect is due there. Here is where it gets a little shaky as far as a lot of these guys. You could really mix them up in a bag, and they're very similar, in my opinion, because somebody's going to be disrespected by being a little lower than someone else. But I will agree that when you look at just the era itself and the best of the best, we have to take into account championships for sure. You had to take into account, where you end up in the all-time ranks. And then look, the man is on the logo. I'll give him credit. I'll go with Jerry West here. Agreed. I'll go Jerry here. He deserves to be recognized. He was a driving force of the league at the time, and really a big-time player. And I give him credit for that. So I put Jerry there. Who you got next, Justin?
We go Oscar right here.
Okay. Man was
Shout out
phenomenal.
No, he was. I just hate that. I just feel as if Moses was a little bit more of a dominant player.
Okay. Calvin?
Yeah, I was going back and forth between these two players, but I got Oscar next just because of the numbers that he put up, and he didn't have the talent of the player that I'm getting ready to name next. But he did win a ring, 12-time All-Star, so and an MVP. So I'll give it to Oscar. And now I got Havlicek next. I was going back and forth about who should be next between these two. Havlicek was the winner. Oscar put up the better numbers, but Havlicek had the better team. Posting 20-7 for his career and eight-time all defensive team. So I'll give him that nod right there.
You got to call out his rings too.
Yeah, he got the rings. That's why I'm like, do I want to put the rings up next? But he played with Bill Russell, so I'm like, I credit Bill Russell more for the rings. And Oscar didn't have the same talent, and he had better numbers. So that's why I'm giving the nod to Oscar. But if you interchange them, I wouldn't be upset. But this is just my order, so that's what I'm going with.
All right, what you got, Justin?
All right, now we're gonna go with Willis Reed next.
You know, it's a little early.
El Captain. That is Earl. That is Earl the Pro. We go a little bit further down. The last guy. The last guy.
Yeah. I remember that.
It's all good.
It's in black and white.
It's all good. That's why I say he really shouldn't be black and white, but it is what it is. 2-time champion, the only champion that New York has ever had, and you see how we like the 08 Boston Celtics when it comes to that. We won that joint in like the 70s, right? Late 60s, early 70s. So it was around that time period. Walt, Clyde Frazier, and all them boys was on the team. He the one that came out. It was against Wilt. This is a knock on Wilt, Charlie Wilt on this one, but he showed his face. He shot 2 jumpers and said, "I'm out, guys," and they won it because of him. The inspiration, the fortitude, the leadership. Willis Reed is the guy, the first and only captain on this list. Shout out to Willis Reed.
It was a great soliloquy. I give you credit for that. I'm going with the San Antonio Spurs legend. That's right, the Iceman, George Gervin. Look, guys, you talking about a scoring machine. You're talking about somebody who was a walking bucket. That's George Gervin. Look, for his time, again, I give people credit who didn't play on these loaded squads in Boston or LA all the time. I'm going to give Kareem his credit. Man, Kareem's Kareem. But I gave Jerry West, a good placing on my list. But if you talking about a guy who put a team on his back, that is Iceman George Gervin. Scoring champion probably about 5 or 6 times, MVP. What more could you want from him? And if you wanted a guy to be a leader and a face of the NBA, remember a lot of this is about star power as well. We ain't talking about no role players here. We're talking about the guy. You got to go with the Iceman. He goes next on my list. And that to me is I put him in the same category I put with Oscar Robertson or Dr. J. Those are a franchise leaders and fire starters. You want a fire starter on your team, you got the George Gervin. Next, look, Moses goes there for me. I thought Moses was phenomenal. A lot of what you said is true. I just wouldn't put him over some of these other guys.
Understood.
Yeah. Moses is a great player, phenomenal, no doubt about that. And he had longevity. Maybe a lot because he started, coming straight out of high school, but he was a big time player and somebody you really, really, really was important to the league long term. So I go with Moses. Who you got, Justin?
Now we're gonna go with Elgin Baylor. Scoring, like you said, this is the era of scoring, late 50s. I mean, he does date back to the 50s, through the 60s, to the early 70s. That was his time period. Just gave you everything you wanted, man. It's just that he couldn't stay on long enough, and in the very year that he retired, LA won it right after that. So it is what it is when it comes to that. But Buck is galore. Him and the next guy, which was already said, they just give you buckets all day. So we're going to just show love to the bucket getters of this generation.
Okay. Calvin.
Yeah, I got Moses next. I mean, we talked about him. We talked about what he did coming straight out of high school, being a part of that 82, 83 Philadelphia team that won the title. So I'll give Moses respect there. I just look at who's above him, and you look at Bill, Kareem, Wilt, and then there's Moses. So he's in that class, but it's a significant drop in my opinion. So I got Moses there. And I got Elgin Baylor next. Like Justin was saying, he's a bucket getter. He's probably one of the first bucket getters that you can think of when you think about this silent generation. He was in the league 10-time All-Star, 11-time, 10-time All-NBA. He just missed that ring by 1 year. Just couldn't hang on that extra year, so it knocks him down a little bit on that end. But one of the greatest Lakers of all time as well. So I got Mr. Elgin Baylor.
Justin.
We're going George Gervin next. Like I said, this is the bucket era part of my list. Straight buckets, as you said before. Shout out to San Antonio. He took this ABA squad and they merged over to the NBA, and he ain't skip a beat. He ain't miss a note at all. Like I said, had players like him, players like Moses started in the NBA, had Julius started from the NBA. Had they started in the NBA, they already did like the stat comparison, and it completely changes the stats. But just the impact that we see, right?
Mm-hmm.
They kind of do a job of kind of burying the ABA a little bit. It's damn near Negro league-ish in a sense, right? But if you put them in that league, man, game changes all of them. So shout out to George Iceman Gervin.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little tough. Because I think all of these guys are great, and I'm like, I guess I will go George Mikan. Y'all made good points there, and again,
okay, that is not George Mikan.
Elgin Baylor.
How you get the wrong race? Jesus Christ!
You know what I meant, damn it. Them early Lakers teams.
No one knows who you meant.
That's not
Elgin
Baylor. Phenomenal score. Everything y'all said, 100% true. Again, he never won a title, but he has the individual accolades, MVP, all that good stuff. I won't take nothing away from him in that account. Now, look, what could have been, I don't know. But for now, I'll go with you on the whole inspiration and, walking out that tunnel. That's a moment that, is talked about through the annals of time. He did win 2 titles. You never hear about Knicks and championships in the same sentence anymore. So
don't do it again.
The fact that,
don't do it again. You're doing it again.
He was a catalyst for that.
No, you're doing it again.
What am I doing wrong? Oh, shit, I did, didn't I?
I tried to tell you. I was like, yo, you're doing it again. Oh, man.
Look.
I was looking at the picture, like,
good picture. I'm
like, early come out no tunnel.
You know what I was talking about, damn it. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Not by that.
My turn. Let's get this thing back on track. Now let's actually put Earl the Pearl Monroe up here. Let's actually put him next to me. Like I said, all-time bucket getter. I believe he came on our second championship, if I'm not mistaken. I had to double check that. I think he only has 1 championship. But when I say that him and Walt Clyde was one of the best all-time backcourts like ever. Like I'm throwing it up there. Walt Clyde was probably one of the best defensive point guards of all time, and Earl was probably one of the best offensive flow type of performers. When you think of the ball handling, all those things that you see today, he was one of the main ones that started all that. He took the black top, the Rucker Park game, and brought it to the NBA. That's the type of guy. So when they say Black Jesus, they didn't say that for everybody. They said it for him because he was just that damn good. Shout out to the Baltimore Bullets because he was definitely played for them, but he won his championship in New York. Black Jesus.
Calvin.
Because I'm about to argue something back. I got Willis Reed. Next.
Do you know who to pick?
I got it.
Cool.
Two-time champ, 2 times Finals MVP, the inspiration, of that first championship. Just his presence, his inspiration. The captain. Knicks fans still talk about him to this day. Top 3 all-time greatest Knick, easily said, at least to this day.
He's definitely top 3.
So I give it to Willis Reed. And next, I went with George Gervin. I was kind of going
tough. What's tough about that?
I was kind of going back and forth. I was kind of going back and forth. The points, just the scoring champ, just the bucket getter, just him being able to put the ball in the basket and ceiling at will, attaching some of those ABA numbers, all-time ABA, all-time NBA legends. So went with George Gervin.
You seem like you struggled too hard for that for me.
A little bit.
I'm tasting disrespect in the air. In the air.
I'm sticking with it.
Because you're a damn Lakers. You was trying to put somebody else up there. Go ahead,
Lakers up there. I don't think. Let me go check.
Next, we're gonna go with this is like a co-op thing right here, but the first person I want to put up there is Wes Unseld, the man with the fro. Came out as a rookie, won a championship. What else can I say? Hard note. He was basically Ben Wallace before Ben Wallace came out there. Tough, hard nose. One of the probably the best full court passer that you can have. You see Jokic do it today a lot, stuff like that. That was him. Like he was getting assists off the break, rebound, boom, there you go. He did that so much. It was a NBA streaks. He was on there, and that was his special move to grab it and throw it. Like that's what he did. But no, just like I said, heart and soul of that Washington Bullets team. Like I said, champion. Came out the gate as a rookie, dominating. Just wanted, you just play against him. You're like, yo, I just don't feel like playing today. Let me just call in sick. He's just one of those dudes. Dennis Rodman-esque kind of a guy, just a hard worker, in your face, tough nosed defender. One of the best.
Cool. Look, I'm not disrespecting John Havlicek, but I think I think this is a good spot for him. Like he was a sharpshooter on a championship team. They were loaded. I think winning titles does matter. I think this is a good spot for him on my list. Just below that, I agree with you. I think what he meant to Baltimore, especially winning championship here, is important. And we don't really have too many local heroes or guys that we can hang our hat on and say. But Wes Unseld is like synonymous with this town as far as when it comes to basketball. And I think part of this list is about star power, and I think that really matters here. So I put him here on my list. I think that's a good spot for him. Justin, who you got?
Next, Alvin Hayes.
Alvin Hayes. Okay, I like that. Give you a reason.
Came out the gate. He definitely came to Washington. That's when he got his title. Just his game in general, right? He was a shooting forward, right? He was a stretch forward before a stretch forward was a thing, right? 6'9", can shoot jumpers out the door, out the gate. Just a great ball player when it comes to playing ball. Him and Wes was a hell of a duo together. If y'all can y'all wasn't there to see it, I saw it, so it was just a wonderful thing to see. So shout out to Alvin Hayes. I appreciate you.
I don't know about that, but okay. Calvin.
Yeah, I got Wes. Next, the arguably the first great big man passer, the outlet pass, just starting fast breaks, the how he just hounded them on the rebounds. Like you said, just being here and being in Baltimore, what he did in Baltimore, bringing the title here, and then being synonymous with the Bullets when they moved to Washington, before they changed the name to the Wizards. So just in this area, you have a better appreciation for Wes Unseld and what he did for Baltimore Bullets, now known as the Washington Wizards. So I got Wes there, and actually I had Elvin Hayes next, just to have them synonymous, with that team. That 78 title, is that it? That's the year, right? 78 title, and them just being that 1-2 punch, in my opinion. So I gotta have them just right next to each other, and because they're champions together, I think that's both their only championship as well. So I just wanted to have them guys close together. I probably could have had West a little bit higher, but having those guys next to each other just seems right.
Justin?
Let me scroll down a little bit more. I just want to make sure I got everybody. Only one particular. Okay. Yep. Okay. We're going to go with the person that got the most championships out the last three, and that's Hondo John Havlicek. Just a great role player.
Oh, this is disrespectful.
This is disrespectful. This is getting disrespectful now. Let me redo my list. I'm redoing my list now.
Like I said, just a great role player. Definitely took the secondary role behind Bill Russell after Bob Cousy kind of faded away through the 60s, early 70s. He got a couple titles without Bill. So, we just want to show Hondo his proper due respect here on this list. There you go.
That's funny to me. All right. Next up for me, look, it's tough, but I'll go Pistol Pete next. Yeah, as far as the passing and a lot of some of the trick plays and he was a hard-nosed defender. He gets credit for, and a lot of people who were around during that time, they say Pistol Pete was like he was the guy you watched. You know what I mean? He was a fun superstar of the Utah. I think it was Utah Jazz. He was on
New Orleans Jazz, but yeah,
New Orleans. Yeah. But he was like very, very much so someone who was entertaining, and he was a hard-nosed player. Didn't mind mixing it up. As far as accolades, he doesn't compare to some of these other guys on this list, but he was a star of the era, so I give him credit for that. He goes towards the bottom of my list. And then I get one more pick to round out my bottom. And then, look, a lot of what you said earlier, I get one more later. But yeah, he goes here for me. Great player, like you say, what he did for Baltimore as well. Important. Being up there with that Knicks team, a big time player. I just think if I'm going to put him and Willis Reed next to each other, it's similar to what I'm going to do with my last pick. One was clearly, like you tried to say earlier with Magic and Kareem, one was clearly a little higher up on the hierarchy on that team. So that's why he goes here for me. Go ahead, Justin.
All right, next we're going to continue with this flow that I have, and we're going to go with Jerry West. Definitely won a championship. Definitely was what they call the logo.
What they call the logo.
just extremely solid player of his era. He could put the ball in the basket. That was all.
That's funny.
I got Havlicek next. I did have Havlicek last, but I pivoted.
Stole the ball.
I pivoted just because I want to talk about Earl Monroe and why he's the last, and the disrespect of Jerry West. What?
Hey man, this is your list, bro.
Havlicek. He was looking hard. And I
thought that was Pistol Pete Maravich.
It is.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm so frustrated.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll let him have it. I'll let him have it. I'll let him just walk right into that, but it's all good.
You pissed me off when I said that. Yeah, I'm in Pistol Pete. So now we're going to talk about Earl Monroe and why Jerry West deserves to be years and light years ahead of him, especially on Justice List. The disrespect for the logo, the great Jerry West, who are doing that purple and gold for 13 years. To slight this man and put him so far down on your list is utterly disrespectful. I got Earl Monroe last. I just want to spend my time talking about the disrespect of Jerry West and his logo.
One is named Jerry West, the other one is named Black Jesus.
That is
a difference.
pathetic.
Pistol Pete rounds out my last one, and I'll tell you why. The last two guys on my list really just suffered from not having a 3-point line. They can pull it from 30, but unfortunately, it only counts as 2, and they suffered through that throughout the entire career. So their points and everything else should be a bit higher, but a 2 is a 2. So that's why I say it's kind of a big man's lead, because I could take a 60% shooter from inside the paint versus you jacking it from 25 feet, but it's only still worth 2. So I do hold that against them. Pistol Pete was a wizard with the ball, but little to no defense, and we're not gonna act like these guys are playing tremendous defense. Not this particular breed of individuals. So it's just it is what it is. He had an untimely death, but I would like to see what Pistol Pete had to say towards his later career, later years. But hell of a player. Glad that
definitely
rounding out.
All right, I thought that was fun. That was good. Again, we weren't fortunate enough to be alive for a lot of this, but research and old video and reading and things can help you keep informed. But shout out to that era of the game. Next week, we'll talk about the various eras and try to see if we can compare the best of the best, put the best 5 from each era, and we'll go through that as well. Let's get into the rest of the news before we get out of here. I know I was getting late. Update on NBA for tonight. Orlando was able to pull it out 120-95.
Wasn't close.
And Golden State is actually out to a nice little comfortable lead over Memphis early in that matchup. So that's where we at right now. Basically chalk. This Sunday is WrestleMania, live from Las Vegas.
Sunday.
Yes, this weekend. That's right, correct. Should be very interesting to see how things pan out. Let's go through each matchup before we get out of here and talk about who we think real quickly. Some things we're looking to see. Yickety. Here's the official lineup that we know right now. Yickety. These matches appear in the order in which they are right now scheduled to happen over the weekend. Saturday night, WrestleMania is scheduled to open with Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso. The crowd's going to be on fire, yeeting as Jey Uso comes to the ring. And the pronunciation and the expectation is this will end with Jey Uso hosting the World Heavyweight title. Yes. The crowd going crazy, and a great visual to start off WrestleMania weekend. Calvin, your thoughts on this matchup, and do you see Jake walking out with the title?
Yes, I do. I think I've liked some of the build-up over the last couple of weeks. It's gotten better, in my opinion, as it's gotten closer to WrestleMania. Adding Jimmy to the mix and having him getting his ass whooped and bleeding all over the Netflix page a couple weeks ago. So I do like that. But I definitely think Jay wins. I don't think anyone figured since Royal Rumble that he was going to lose his matchup. So I definitely have Jay winning. I probably have him holding that title at least right now until SummerSlam. But I definitely got Jay winning.
Justin?
It's a part of the program. I definitely think he's going to win. Don't be surprised if he's not a part of the grand scheme. I said this weeks ago on this particular show. I truly believe that he's a part of Rock's plan. I think he's one of.
You think it's him?
I think so. You notice Jay has been real. You're not gonna like who I'm going to become. I'm changing. He's usually becoming and changing a lot more. If you listen to his promos the last week or two, Yeah, you can say, yeah, Jimmy got his ass kicked, so I'm gonna hold it. Or you could be pro, foreshadowing the whole different change. We don't know. But either way, Gunther is not walking out as a champion.
Interesting. I haven't heard this take. Interesting. Okay. I don't see that. I think, and I'll get into that a little later, but yeah, should be great visual in that stadium. Jay walking out World Heavyweight Champion. Match 2 for night 1. The New Day taking on the Viking Raiders for the World Tag Team titles. Do you see a title change happening here, Justin?
Yes. I'm just going to go out and say I'm going for everybody that's of color. With that being said, it's just, who cares about the War Raiders at the end of the day? Like, no one is really checking to see the War. The War Raiders wasn't even getting love when they was doing a European tour. You know what I'm saying? They they're just not. They're not catching. They're not popping. They're not doing none of those things. The New Day is what it is. You can just see them with the belt and a whole bunch of "I told you so's" and all that. I would love to hit that promo for the next couple weeks versus do they even talk? I don't even think the other guys talk. They don't even.
I
talk.
like the Wolverine. They got personality too, but they try to be mean, tough guys. They really do. Remember during the pandemic era when they was out there playing golf and doing all that kind of stuff? They was hilarious. Yeah, with the Street Profits. Yeah, they got personality, but they was being too goofy, so they wanted to make them a bit more into more tough guys again.
Okay, well, it ain't working.
Do we get a Big E appearance?
That's my whole issue with the whole New Day turning heel. They did that excellent angle with Big E, and they ain't been gone. And like that was followed up. The crowd was booing. Remember how much heat they was getting? Yeah. They should have followed up and done something. Either I ain't say you got to whoop his ass or nothing, but at least do something to insult the man. Like really get some heat.
That's why I don't think they win. I think we get a Big E appearance, and he costs them the titles. And I think we kind of revive that storyline. That's just my opinion.
But I think you do that with a different team on the other side. I think that the payoff should be Big E later once they are champions. But I think they need to win the titles first. I think they win the titles and then they get into some type of feud and Big E gets involved.
It's the I did it without him angle, and they can ride that.
Yeah, them as champions gives them more heat. I really think that makes more sense. Yeah, I agree. Next up, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This dating back to when that whole whodunit mystery. We find out Naomi cut one of the best promos of her career when she did that promo with Bianca, explaining why she did it. I thought they had started off very hot, kind of cooled off the last few weeks, but I think both of these ladies, especially Naomi, deserve this type of spot on this type of show. I'm glad they put them here. Should be entertaining that Naomi can carry Jade to a decent match. I've seen Jade in AEW wrestle pretty much squashes, basically. She had a couple, 10-minute matches here and there. I wonder how long they will have this go. Will they just make it a squash? I think they won't embarrass Naomi like that on the stage like this. She might be able to get a decent match out of it. Justin, your thoughts?
This is tough for me for obvious reasons. But I'm going to go with Jade because you have to establish her dominance. She's going to be the one the corner around between the championship fight later on, right? So this is the lane here. So you can't have her losing to Naomi. But like you said, just don't squash her, man. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see no squash. Give Naomi a fighting shot, whereas though she can kind of ride this herself. But Jade is definitely going to be the winner.
This is on Saturday, right?
Saturday. All these matches Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we all got Jade winning. I was on the fence when that was going to be a squash. I thought if it was on Sunday, then they kind of squeeze it in. That was going to be the reason for it. But if it's on Saturday, I think they'll give it its due time. But I just want to see improvement from Jade. So hopefully she can kind of carry this. It's just not Naomi carrying her. She can kind of carry her points in this match as well.
Yeah, Jade has had very few singles matches in WWE. She's been in mostly tags, so this is a big spot for her. This will be very well practiced. They're not going to go into WrestleMania without practicing this match over and over and over. So there should be some interesting spots. And, Naomi always want to do something crazy, some type of split-legged this or split-legged that. So hopefully she doesn't do too much and it doesn't get sloppy. So should be entertaining. Next up, defends his United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. I really love Jacob Fatu. This guy is the real deal. Yeah, he's the real deal. He's mean. He's agile. I've loved this guy ever since I used to watch him in MLW on the Indies. He's just a phenomenal talent. Plus, word is that they are signing another big Samoan who is one of the best in the world. If you never heard of Jeff Cobb, get used to him. He's coming. So he might play into Roman's plan. He might premiere the night after WrestleMania. He might premiere at WrestleMania. I don't know if they're going to put him right into the Bloodline or will he feud with the Bloodline.
Ain't like a Zilla or a Zilla coming?
Well, no, that's like a young guy. I'm talking about a real Jacob Fatu is like 42 years old. I'm not Jacob Fatu. Jeff Cobb is like 42. He like a real Samoan, and he's a badass. Like he remind me of like a young Scott Steiner, like Frankensteiners and all kinds of stuff he can do. So
I'm about to say Braun Breaker.
Yeah, but no, that's Rick Steiner. I'm talking about Scott. But no, he can do it all. But he's a little older. He reminds you of like a mix of who's a big Samoan who got hurt not that long ago, jumping off the cage.
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, like a skinnier Bronson Reed.
I see it. Yeah. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. Jeff Cobb's the man. So I don't know if they're going to put him with Jacob. If they do, he's way better than Solo. And Solo got the look, but Solo just can't wrestle. If Solo could wrestle, he could be something, but clearly they've given up on Solo.
Too chubby, man.
Yeah, they've given up on Solo. He's not like Jacob can do way more than him, and Jacob was way older. You know what I mean? Jacob jumping off the rope, doing all these agile moves. Anyway, I think he wins the title here. This should be a good little showcase for Jacob Fatu for the United States title. Calvin, your thoughts?
You don't think he's number 3? This was my thought.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think that's what they want you to think, but I don't think they go there. I think they want to make this guy babyface, to be honest with you. I really think so.
But I just don't know what's next for him. I think he's winning as well. I just don't know what's next for him. And I think he can get
winning the title.
And no, I said I think he's winning. But after that, what's next for him? That's my point. But
I really think he's going to turn babyface and leave the whole bloodline stuff. You know what I mean? I think that's running by the wayside.
I mean, yeah, that's it seems to be.
It's backburner now.
Yeah.
Roman not even worried about it. No. You know what I mean? Justin, your thoughts?
Going for everybody in color, Triple H is not going to stand for that. So eventually something's going to have to change.
No. He likes people of color. It's not necessarily black folk. Go ahead.
I understand that. But I think LA wins this. I don't know if Strowman is going to come out and interfere. I don't know whether we just talked about Solo. He might come out and interfere. Like Jacob has people that can F with him throughout the match. LA does not.
Confused,
Right. So I think that's something along those lines is going to happen, whereas though LA takes advantage of it, BFT or whatever it is, and there you go. He retains the title.
Yeah. Next up, Rey Mysterio takes on El Grande Americano.
El Grande,
aka you think it's Chad, but it's really not.
It is.
This should be fun. I think that Chad has to win this matchup. I think he loads up the mask, gets the screw job win. You continue to feud after Mania. I think you have to have El Grande walk away with the victory. Justin, your thoughts?
Like I said, I'm going for everybody of color. And with that being said, I'm definitely going for El Grande Americano. Because that's a Mexican underneath that match. I don't care what y'all say. It is not Chad Gable. I'm going with that. It just, at this point, what does Rey have to?
That's my point.
What does he win?
I agree.
What does he, he can
it's
win
another
lose.
feud. You extend that feud, he'll win eventually.
He can still extend it. You can still extend it.
Not on the biggest. You can extend it, but not on the big stage. But yeah, I agree.
It's El Grande's.
100% agree. I think you said it's El Grande.
Next up, for the Women's World Championship on WWE Championship on SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton defends that title against Charlotte Flair. Now, this matchup, which is a matchup nobody really cared about a few weeks ago, has really turned into one of the hottest.
Baby.
It's the hottest feuds in all of wrestling, really.
It needed it though.
It really needed it, which is making people think: is this worked into a shoot? Was it a shoot to turn into a work? They turned it a shoot into a work now.
They turned it.
But it started off a shoot, and the realness that they injected into this feud makes people even be. I know people who are really smart who like. We don't know if they really going to go with the script once they get in there. They might watch how stiff some of these punches might be because Charlotte is known for that anyway.
I'm about to say that's not Tiffany though.
That's Charlotte.
She's going to be
stiffing your ass up, and
Yeah.
we know Charlotte has a reputation of being one of the best WrestleMania performers. Go back and look at it. Rhea Ripley, like some of her best matches. Becky Lynch.
Yeah, she don't wrestle all the time, so she
at WrestleMania. So I'm looking to see what type of match these two put on if they're cooperative. Tiffany is extremely athletic. When it's choreographed, she showed herself to be big time. We've seen her get a little sloppy here and there. I want to see how this match comes off. Charlotte really needs a big performance because she has not been representing herself in any good way since she's come back. The fans have gotten to her a lot. She's very sensitive. Just doesn't seem professional. Man, I don't know. It's just not looking good for Charlotte right now, especially if she loses to Tiffany at WrestleMania. I wonder what it does to her, like long term. But if she beats Tiffany, it's not going to be good for her. Nobody wants to see her beat Tiffany because she has a reputation of burying young talent, and this won't help. This will not help. Justin, your thoughts?
She beats her. I think in a perfect world, I think Kaza comes out.
Oh, God.
And it backfires a little bit for Tiffany, and then Charlotte finds a way to win. I will love if that plays itself out that way. And I will love the Monday night after and the amount of boos that she's going to receive, or she's on SmackDown, whichever show. The amount of boos that she's going to rain down on her as she's holding the championship. I'd rather see that than Tiffany extend this thing.
The question is, where's the next match? Is it Jade? Is it who's the next contender? That is,
yes, it's going to be Jade because Jade eyed it down when she was walking.
I know that's what I'm saying. So that tells you who should win. Calvin.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shaw's going to win, and I think we're already focusing on what's next for her. But hopefully, we can get a good build up for that Charlotte Jade feud.
She'll drop it to Jade at whatever SummerSlam or whatever.
Yeah,
she won't really lose like that. Not to Tiffany like WrestleMania. Nah.
You know what? I've been thinking about it because they're doing the second ever all women's pay-per-view coming up this summer, Revolution #2. And if you want to really create it, because Becky Lynch will probably be coming back for that show. You got some we got a lot of women. If you really wanted to inject some star power, you could have Tiffany win the first one, Charlotte sometime wins the second matchup later, and then you build to that Jade match down the road. But I don't know if I pull the trigger on the Tiffany thing. Politics are important. I think because Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, because she's beaten so many of the younger aspiring stars coming up, I think it's not a good look for her to win again. I just don't, from a politics perspective. And you don't want to be that company that books only veterans to beat the young people, and then that's when people leave and they go to AEW.
You were 10 years ago, though.
But that's what you don't want to be now. That's what I'm saying. You got AEW now, and these people, their contracts up, they out of there. You know what I mean? And they about to sign some pretty big stars from AEW right now because they see that the women are getting a more opportunity on WWE stage. So I think from a aesthetics and just a optics perspective, I think it looks better if you have Tiffany win, but I don't know. We'll see. It might be more money in Charlotte since she did win the Royal Rumble. So we'll see. Main event night 1, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, triple threat. Paul Heyman will be in the corner of CM Punk.
Who's he leaving?
A lot of intrigue. I've been loving Seth Rollins in this feud. Seth Rollins has been probably the best thing going right now in WWE main event scene. Some of his promos have just been on the money. The performance of Roman Reigns, all of it. I love this. This is all intriguing. The only thing that would make this better is if it was for the World Championship, to be honest with you. This is great. I've been enjoying it. Calvin, what's your thoughts? Who you see winning?
If you'd have asked me this question a week ago, I would have said Punk. I think the bigger question is who does Heyman leave with, because I can see the Seth Rollins angle with Paul Heyman. I don't know if I necessarily like it, but I can see the angle. I don't think it benefits anyone but Rollins to win his matchup. And I didn't even want him to just be the triple threat with Rollins included until recently. Now I like how he's been interjected into the storyline. He's been interjected each in the last couple weeks on Raw. So it just feels like it's more ready to be a triple threat than it was a month or so ago. We just kind of felt like he was forced to be in there because of and he really just didn't fit. So I'm actually looking forward to this matchup. I wasn't looking forward to, like I said, 2 weeks ago, but I think it's Seth Rollins who's going to win this matchup. And I also think I'm wondering what the Heyman angle is going to end up becoming, because I didn't see the twist with him kind of dishing Roman Reigns, but I like it. I don't know what's Roman going to become now, because he's going to be this solo, everyone's left me, I'm on my own kind of standard. But I'm looking forward. This is going to be the best matchup on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. Justin?
Those that don't know, I'm starting a whole nother podcast with my man King and them. It's going to call We Talk Combat, right? Combats, and it's pretty much a wrestling show. So I want to give him his just due, because he actually said that Paul Heyman was going to be with Seth Rollins. I was like, yo, that's crazy. He definitely put that out there a while ago. So I see that happening now. Clearly, they're kind of making it that way. But to see who's going to be the winner of this show, of this particular match, CM Punk wins. Seth Rollins gets pinned. Roman Reigns still looks like, I didn't get pinned, I should have won, and he can continue his new promo that he's doing. It's me against the world, that kind of a thing. Roman doesn't get pinned. And I think CM Punk just has a way to win matches like this. I didn't expect him to beat that Drew McIntyre rivalry, and he found a way to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's winning these extended rivalries for lack of a better word. So CM Punk wins. Seth Rollins gets pinned.
You think Heyman leaves with Rollins?
Say it again.
Do you think Paul Heyman leaves with Seth Rollins?
I think that will be a boost that Seth Rollins could use. Yeah, why not?
So I guess my question is, what's the logic of having Punk win but then having Heyman leave with Rollins? That's my question.
It's too much going on. Seth Rollins is the easy way out. He can't. I'm not gonna be my best friend, because everything Seth he can come back and say, Seth, you was right about everything. They was using me, both of them.
I think you all have to look at it from the bigger picture. All of these guys are vying for a title. Okay, so the problem is, that's the problem. If you're looking at it from which title are they going to go for? Now, Roman is technically on SmackDown. Punk is technically on Raw. Seth is technically on Raw. None of these people are going up to Jey Uso. We can all agree with that, right? The title they're going after would be the winner of Cody and Cena. By all accounts, we can jump ahead. Most people think Cena's walking out of WrestleMania as the champion, and there are money matches to be made: Cena versus Punk, Cena versus Roman, all within this next year before he retires. So to me, the question is, what matchup do you go to next? Do you go to Punk versus Cena? Do you go to Roman versus Cena? Or do you go to Rollins versus Cena? And I think the answer is clear: it's CM Punk, because they even teased it already. So I think Punk walks out, but I think the roadblock, and I do agree, that keeps Roman busy is Seth Rollins. They never buttoned that issue up from when he curb stomped him at Royal Rumble. They have the history together. They never finished it. Remember, Rollins beat Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble 2
Yeah.
years ago, and they never got that buttoned up. It was a disqualification countout type deal, whatever, but never got buttoned up. But if he now takes his wise man from him, and then that's another layer to that story, you can continue that all summer. You know what I mean?
I have to get rid of you. You're the one in my way. Like that's his next person in his way.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But Punk can go on and wrestle Cena. He can go after Cody. He can do whatever he want. You know what I mean? And be fine. And that'll carry the business for the year. You know, Roman ain't there every week. So you can extend that Roman revenge out with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman just being on TV as an item. So there's so many ways you can go with that. I think that's the way to go.
So
here's the wrinkle. Here's the wrinkle that nobody has brought up because we know about what's going on with this lawsuit. What if it's Brock Lesnar who comes back and Paul brings his man back and he's the advocate for Brock again? Then it's a whole nother layer to this because at the end of the day, Brock is still Paul's guy. We just never got that finality to that story. So
that's true, but Cody beat him, Seth beat him, Roman beat him. It's not the same, Brock.
Sure.
But Brock
it'll be nice.
You gone for a while, you come back, people forget all about that. They forget all about that. So
it'll be nice.
It'll be interesting. All right, night 2. Before we get out of here, night 2 opens up with the women's triple threat for the World Heavyweight title. Rhea Ripley and Bianca challenging Io Sky. Calvin, how you see this one going there?
Why is this a triple threat match again? This should just be Bianca versus Rhea.
I'm telling you why. Because they have an all-women's.
I understand that.
Coming up,
I understand that.
Save that Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair one-on-one match for that pay-per-view.
And you made that at the last hour, and that's why Rhea dropped the belt to Io. So
they didn't make it at the last hour. Io been champion for over a month.
I mean, I agree that, but it was unexpected when she beat Rhea. That's my point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I look based off that, you know, one of them has to win, either Rhea or Bianca. I think it's an obvious answer. I think so. If you're going into this all-win pay-per-view, one of them has to be the champ. Now, you're going to say it doesn't have to be on WrestleMania. It could be a future pay-per-view.
Yes.
I think you have to build up the rivalry. So, with that being said, she retains, which I don't like.
Okay. Justin, what you think?
Bianca is Miss WrestleMania. Like I said, I'm going for everyone in color. Well, in this case, darker color. And I'm definitely going to go with Bianca to win this. I think they missed one opportunity. If I was Io, I would have at the contract signing say, I have to be the one to get pinned. I think that was just one wrinkle they could have added because Rhea forced herself in. So if you're going to be here, then I have to be the one to be pinned to lose. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can go at it as much as y'all want to. Y'all still got to get me. But they didn't do that. But I think Bianca pins Io, and Rhea can keep that same thing going. You didn't beat me. You beat her. So on and so forth. And just, you know, Rhea is the ultimate. I'm gonna play like the fan favorite, but I'm a villain kind of a person. She's been a villain this whole entire time. Even before Dom, she made Dom. Dom became a double down heel off of her being a heel. Like it's crazy, but people kind of just fall for it in a sense, right? So I think she's the true one. And now that we're back in the States, and I gotta say this, now that we're back in the States, Bianca can get the love affair that she deseres. She wasn't getting love like that over in the European countries because of obvious reasons.
No. She's heel, and this is going to be the finality of her heel turn. She's going all the way heel, like ruthless heel. And I'm loving it because it's going to come out that, yeah, Naomi. I mean, yeah, Jade. I was all in it with her. Like, she did it for me, and I'm happy she did it. That still has not been buttoned up. And I think that's what's going to be the next layer for her. But they say that's why I don't know about this whole Jade and Charlotte thing. I think Jade and Bianca is the story. And they just wait until Bianca had the title. She wins the title here, and then we'll follow up on that. So we'll see. I'm excited for that.
Just talked about okay.
No, I said I wouldn't put the title on Charlotte.
Okay.
That was my argument. I
You
said
wouldn't-
Tiffany should walk out with the title.
Okay.
Then you don't have to go to Jade and Charlotte. No, Tiffany can keep the title. Jade should be wrestling with Bianca, not Charlotte. I don't want to see her.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, that was my point. Next up, four-way for the Intercontinental title: Braun Breaker, Pentagon, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Let me say this now.
Is his name Pentagon?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I was
Yeah, it is Pentagon.
I didn't know that.
Y'all don't watch wrestling?
They always say Penta.
Well, his name is Pentagon. They call him Penta. I don't know. Maybe it's trademark reasons. Named Pentagon. And his brother named Phoenix. Did y'all see him premiere on SmackDown? Phenomenal. Dominic Mysterio better win this match. Dominic Mysterio better walk out this ring with the title. You can do so many stories if he win this match. I think, like, just creatively, that is the best story to tell. I love Braun Breaker, but he deserves to be up there fighting for the world title. Let's move on. I think him and Gunther is a natural feud. Put them in the ring together. Let's go. But Dom walks out. Finn gets jealous. You can do all kinds of stuff. Okay, Justin?
Talk about stealing a dude thunder. Goddamn. I agree. I do think that Dom should win this. Him and Liv should be walking down the aisle or the ringside, both of them champions some kind of way. It fits. I think I thought they was kind of deviating from this because Dom was getting hella heat, and then it kind of fell off of it.
Down.
Yeah. So I hope that this can build it back up.
Reheating it.
And once Jay wins, it doesn't just Braun beat Jay. Like, y'all beat this dude. I need to. I'm where y'all at. And he doesn't have to. That's the thing about these 4-ways. You don't have to get pinned. He doesn't have to get pinned, so he can still keep that his streak or whatever, that invincibility or whatever. He can still have that. Like, y'all didn't beat me. I'm tired of being around you guys. Like, I need to go, and do that thing. So, like I said,
that's the story too. I would have Breaker spare Finn Balor or do something. Everybody put their move on Finn, and then Penta and Braun take each other out, and then Dom just put one arm on him or something. Then 1, 2, 3, and then like, oops, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be how I do it. Go, Calvin.
I will say this is the one match where I think I agree it's gonna be Dom, but I don't think you can go wrong with any of the 4 of them. So I do like that.
Is it too early for Penta? I'm just asking.
No. I think it actually is good because he's hot. You know what I mean? The crowd loves him.
I can't.
And you can do a lot of great matches with. You're a hater.
And
him and El Grande. Like
you can't
that
go wrong
would
with
be
this
great
matchup.
too.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with this.
Yeah, I love this. This is good. This is good booking. Next up, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, and I've heard it might be a street fight. I can't get.
I think it is a street fight.
It is official. Okay,
yeah,
the graphic wasn't updated when I looked, but anyway, so yeah, these two are very interesting to me as far as their placement. Over the last year, they've both been world champion. We saw Drew get screwed off his title. He had it and he lost with the Money in the Bank thing, and these two seem in a similar spot to me, like purgatory almost. Like, a great performers, both of them, but they not CM Punk, they not Cody. You know what I mean? They like that next tier down, and you put them up against each other. I think it'll be a hard hitting big guy match, but not nothing you looking at is like this is like one of the main events or anything like that. So they gonna have to do something to really heat this up for me to really care to that level. But great performers. I love Drew on the mic. Everything he's done over the last year with Punk and Seth has been phenomenal. So I think they deserve to be showcased, but I just think they just suffer from not being in the biggest matches on the show. Calvin, your thoughts?
I agree. Drew's work over the last year has been phenomenal. I think he deserves to win. He deserves to move on to what's next for him and just kind of tie and button this up. So I hope that's what transpires. But with Priest, I mean, he's really fell off, and I don't know what's next for him. But I hope it's Drew, and I think it will be Drew.
Justin,
they're on SmackDown, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Go for him.
this is the next person that whoever wins this is seen as next victim. Simple as that. It's seen as he's going to defend against somebody, and they're going to hold off some of the bigger names. And this is one of those people, just like they was giving people to Cody. This is what this does. You have to.
I don't see Cena fighting at every pay-per-view though.
I don't see him wrestling Drew, who's a heel. Cena a heel. So that means you've got Priest winning this match.
Yes.
Yeah, just
that's still
that's
okay. They didn't even have to have these two on. They could have put the Street Profits in not necessarily in this slot, but
on the show.
On the show, because
I think they put them on SmackDown. Yeah,
they did. They put them on SmackDown. This fight could have been on SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? It has no what's the benefit? What's the outcome if whoever wins?
I don't know. That's why I say it's like a purgatory match.
I
think the Kevin Owens injury kind of hurt the card as well, because Kevin Owens and Randy, not that these two wouldn't have made the show, but it's just like
they was on their way out. They was on their way out, and they
if there was going to be a match to get cut, this would have been the match. And no disrespect, they actually have had the type of year where they deserve to be on Mania. So I see why they
didn't.
On the show.
They didn't build.
They don't
these
have
up
nothing heated up.
They didn't build it up. They just
There's
like
a story here. Yeah,
it started since the Rumble, and it was like hitting and missing.
Well, even before that, though, remember Drew was champion, and Damian cashed in.
And Damian took it from him.
So, he took it from him. So there's a story here. It's not like it's not a story. It just didn't. It's not. It's suffering from not being Cena, Cody. It's not Roman, Seth, and Punk. It's just a step down. Like it's just not. Yeah. Athletically, they too similar as well.
The winner is just. They fight each other again. Like maybe the start.
And I think that's why they make this street fight. Yeah, to make it like one of them Sheamus bangers or something. You know what I mean? Like one of the matches where you just hope they go out there and just beat the hell out of each other and the crowd get into it. I can see this being Goldberg and Brock. Back. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the crowd be like, all right, we love you guys, but let's move on. All right, this one, AJ Styles and Logan Paul. To me, at least Logan gonna be athletic. AJ gonna give you a good match. The crowd gonna get into it. But traditionally, AJ has not been a great performer at WrestleMania. I've been at multiple WrestleManias where AJ style matches were just boring. So he has a lot to prove when it comes to that big stage. I think Logan Paul is the right opponent for him and should bring it out of him. Calvin?
Yeah, I agree with it. His best performance was at 30, 35 against Undertaker, and that was tape. So we know how. So I agree with you on that. So he has a lot to prove. I think he gets over on this match, but I think he has a lot to prove in front of this WrestleMania crowd, and I think he will step up. But I expect a lot of high flying. I expect Logan Paul's antics. He just seems to always rub Triple H the wrong way. So I don't know if he'll ever get over, in my opinion. But in this case, it's AJ Styles.
I think Logan, they love Logan Paul. You talking about Logan Paul, AJ Styles?
No, I'm talking about Logan Paul.
Nah, they love that guy.
I'm talking about Triple H specifically, not they.
You think so?
Yeah.
Justin, as much as that Prime still on the sideline, they love that.
They love that guy.
He's making them money. That's a different story.
They put him in big matches, man. He fought Roman and everything. Go ahead.
I'm going with Logan on this one. And there's another clip of a finishing move that a younger woman has. She did some type of inverted flip, and then she ended up slamming somebody. I say that to say I love when people come up, or at least a fresh finishing moves. I lead all that to Logan Paul finishing move. He has one of the best finishes in like the last couple of years, like legitly. That pulverizer is a great finishing move. I do not want to see AJ kick out of that. Once he does that, boom, keep some prestige to finishes some kind of way, especially new ones. So I go with that on straight for Logan Paul's finishing move, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think this will be a match that outperforms what people think. Logan just one of those guys. He's
a performer.
He's a performer. Yeah,
he's a white Kofi. That's what it is.
Yeah. Semi main event is women's tag team title match. I don't have much to say about this. I think this is just a showcase for Liv, and they had to get on the show. Yeah.
Period.
After a long weekend, I don't think too many people going to care about seeing this match get rolled out before the main event. Justin, thoughts? Don't have to keep it long.
No doubt. I just want to see Liv be Liv, man. Liv is a great performer. She
Excellent.
takes bumps with the best of them and all this stuff. Liv is
And
just
Bailey got bad knees. I don't know. Bailey's just falling off.
she's just not herself. That's why she's
Yeah.
tagging with the young
Yeah.
talent in a sense, right? So we know what's going down. But yeah, I just want to see Liv just be her.
Agreed.
Calvin. Yeah.
Agreed.
And then the main event. A lot of questions, a lot of answers will be given. Cody, Cena. Will The Rock be there? Will he be involved? What will be his involvement? Will Cena walk out as champion? Will Cody retain? Those are the questions. What is the answer, Calvin?
Rock is there. Cena wins. I think we get a rematch though as well before Cena moves on to Punk or Rollins.
He's
we
due
get
that.
we get a rematch. Which
He beats him twice.
yes, yeah. I think Cena carries him through the summer at least. That's the thing. He carries him through the summer, and then at SummerSlam we can kind of because then he's got to turn babyface as well. So that's the other thing.
I mean,
How long is he
there's
gonna be a
another
heel?
pay-per-view before that. Like, do we still count Money in the Bank as
There's two pay-per-views.
that's still
I'm
a
not-
high.
Party show.
It ain't the best. It ain't the big
It
four,
ain't
but
the-
it's like
I
5-6.
don't. But you,
niggas,
I don't
people
think-
love Money in the
I
Bank.
don't even know. Do you even think Cena shows up to Money in the Bank? I think
Yes.
Cena's.
Money in the Bank is pretty big this year. I think it's in
I
London.
guess you're right. Yeah, okay, it's overseas as well, so I take that back. But yeah, I got Cena winning. I think The Rock is there. I think that's one of I like that to try to keep speculation over what's going to happen in this match because there's so many different questions. I like that, but I think we already know the answers. We're just wanting to see some kind of confirmation of those answers.
Justin.
I think The Rock has to come out. I think Austin has to come out. I think we have to have these type of things because the match itself is not going to be as entertaining as the rest of the cards that we saw before this. That street fight that we just sullied over is probably going to be a better fight than this.
Because Cena's not that guy no more. Yeah.
This is what we have to deal with, right? So it's going to be all the antics that keeps us going in this particular match. But all signs, all roads, all driveways, every lane, every traffic pattern leads to Cena beating Cody finally.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think he wins. The question is how. That's the intrigue to me. It's not necessarily the result. Is
right
how
with
to
the
get
antics
there.
and everything like that. We got how does he do it? Yeah, I agree.
So that should be fun, and we'll keep eye on that. Anyways, WrestleMania, guys, 2 nights, some good stuff that should be there, and then the night after WrestleMania, we'll learn some even more new stuff because I heard they holding off because the last couple night after WrestleManias have been disappointing under Vince McMahon. But Triple H say he want to bring back the thrill of what the night at the WrestleMania used to be, save some debuts, some guys mixing it up. They got a draft coming up or a little mix up with the rosters, even though it felt like they just did that not that long ago. So we'll see.
They was giving people like transfer portals. Like,
all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
just mix the rosters at this point, combine the titles, damn it. But again, I also want to make sure that if you are a wrestling fan, you need to make sure that you are not only keeping up with WWE, keep up with AEW from time to time, because some of these guys who are big stars at AEW, you might be seeing them in WWE soon. So it's good to know who these people are before they pop up, because some contracts are up and some changes are happening. So wrestling is being very interesting right now for me to view and keep up with all the news on a daily basis. But WrestleMania season should be fun. Hope you enjoy. Before we get out of here, I know we kind of late in the hour. Oreos have been sliding. What the hell's been happening, guys? What the hell's been happening? I come back and then the team nosedive. Is it me? Is it me? Justin.
No. This is what happens when you don't prioritize starting pitching. This is what happens. We just had a series against Boston when they just picked up God damn, the pitcher that we was looking at last year.
The left-hander. I think talking
The
about.
left hand, the big dude, or whatever. And I was like that, and he mowed us down a little bit. It's like our bullpen is straight, except for Perez, but our bullpen is probably one of the best bullpens, top 5 in the league, no
We
doubt.
just blew that game the other day. Yesterday.
Batista still has he's still a work in
Doesn't push
progress.
back. Yeah, can't go back to
He's
back.
still a work in progress.
Crochet. There we go.
Crochet, correct. It's the bats are hit and miss, and when they're missing, they're not. But we won 2 games so far this year, scoring 8 or more runs with no home runs. So we can do it. We can do that. It's just the pitching. We just got to get better pitching right now.
I think this is what happens when you lose your ace and you don't have a backup plan. And the backup plan was relying on Grayson Rodriguez.
They offered money.
Yeah, supposedly they offered him 45. They offered him more per year than he got from Arizona. He just wanted to go home. So
he wanted to go home.
I understand that.
Plan B, like you said, though.
Yeah. There's no plan B. And also, I think when you lose your pitching and then you don't re-sign your best hitter in Santander and you're relying on potential, and then you have an injury the first week to Cowser, and now you have no rotation, so everyone's basically stuck in the outfield.
Trash.
Don't put him in center field.
Trash. Don't put him in center field. Don't put him in infield. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, I think you hope the young guys' bats come around. Maybe it comes around as the weather gets warmer, but you needed if you lost Burns, you should have said, okay, we're just going to have to outscore everybody. Let me go get Santander, and I'll figure out how to make it work. That should have been the thought process. But now it's let me rely on Kjerstad and Cowser and O'Neill. Let's see what they can do. And it's just, and now you're talking about moving Mountcastle because you want to bring Mayo up. I mean, you have to either play these guys.
Mayo should have been going so we can have a pitcher.
But you supposedly, I'm thinking about Screwball. They wanted like Mayo and Holiday and like somebody else.
So you see what Boston gave him? Boston didn't really give him too much.
But the Orioles' prospects were better, so you can't compare the two.
Right, but I'm not getting up Jackson. But they could have took Mayo and probably 2 others.
I mean, I'd give him Mayo. I'd give him Mayo and Westberg. Like, all right, cool, let's go. And then it's a left-hander coming off Tommy John surgery as well. It's like, I'm not high on Westberg.
We're not giving up Jordan. No, we're not giving up Jordan.
I'm not high on Westberg.
He can go.
No. We talk about it when we got more time, but it's
well, basketball is pretty much going to be just playoffs. We're not doing our list after this week, so we'll be back to having plenty of time. So
draft
next week.
I got it right here. Don't worry about that. So so yeah, I know we were late on time, but yeah, the NFL draft is coming up. We're going to have a full preview next week, give our final predictions. We know Shedeur Sanders is going to be meeting one last time with a private workout with the Giants on Thursday, which is wild to me. If they're not going to take him with number 3, what are we doing here? I mean, I think, look, it's a lot of questions, like who will go number 1? Is Cam Ward really the best quarterback in this draft? And if he is, if Shedeur is not nobody else's pick after the Giants, how far will he fall? There's word that he might not even come to the draft because he doesn't know if it's a guarantee if he's going to get picked.
You know what's interesting? It's interesting. He works out for the Giants, who we know aren't taking them when we think aren't taking them at 3. I think the Giants trade back in the first round, try to get him. Hopefully, look, I'm not if the Ravens did that, I'm not mad at that. If you tell me you're gonna give me your 1 next year because you want Shedeur and you're trading back after the first round, I'll make that deal. And I'll load up on picks next year. I have no problem with that.
You saying if you trade out of the first round?
If I trade them my first round pick for their first round pick for next year's draft, I'll make that move.
If you
heard from the Ravens.
Trading with who?
The Giants.
He's saying the Giants use that second round pick to get back into the first round.
Yes. Well, it probably wouldn't be their second. I don't want their second this year. I want their 1 next year. That's what I'm saying.
I want a linebacker this year, and I feel like the linebacker I want, I could pick at my spot. So no, I ain't trading nobody. But anyway, that's me. I study who I want, and I know the Ravens always pick stupid, so they're gonna pick who they want. You know what I mean?
They're gonna pick a receiver.
Yeah, whatever, or trade out like you just suggested. But anyway, we'll go into more detail next week. But there's a lot going on with that top. You know, Abdul Carter. To me, you can't miss if you pick a guy like that. You know what I mean? But
second best player in the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you need a pass rusher. You know what I mean? Like,
and they got whatchamacallit on the other side. The guy they got from Carolina.
Who you talking about?
The Giants.
Oh yeah. If you're in a division with the Eagles, the Cowboys, and now you got Washington, yeah, you're gonna need a pass rusher. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm not faulting you for not going quarterback. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. We're gonna go into depth next week, take some real time, talk about the NFL draft, talk about NBA playoffs, little reaction to WrestleMania. So we got a lot, and then we gotta talk some baseball. We really gotta dig in to this Orioles season and really getting. I know we talked about it briefly, but I look, NBA eras has been great. We appreciate. I hope you all enjoyed that content.
The Silent Generation was definitely way more entertaining than I thought.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make a meal out of it. Baby. We're gonna make a meal. But yeah, but next week we're gonna really get in deep and dag into the depths of what's coming up here with this NBA playoffs, in depth with each series. Talk about some WrestleMania, some baseball, and then we got to talk about the NFL draft. So it's going to be a jam-packed show next week. Thank you all for tuning in. Those who stuck around, those who watching this after it airs, we always appreciate it. I see the views just go up, up, up afterwards. I know a lot of y'all be in bed late at night when you watch it the next morning on your drive in or when you're at work at your desk. We appreciate you all doing when you can. And we'll see you right here next week. For Calvin, Justin, I'm Larry. We'll see you next week for another edition. Get off the damn fist. Have a good night.